like for this movie, I'm not like stupid hype. Right now I'm hype, but I'm not like crazy. I'm going in here like, it's gonna be a cool movie. You know what I mean? I'm not like gonna be like, it's gonna be the monumental moment of the movie. You know what I mean? Yeah.
We out here chasing dreams, trying to catch them like receivers. Heavy on the grind, trying to turn you to believers. Yeah, we see you hating from the bleachers. Coming with the gas, hot and ready, little Caesars.
I'm hooked on a feeling, dun 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 dun. I'm high on believing, bow, 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 that you're in love with Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3.
Yeah.
Cause that's what we sing.
I don't know what that was, but
Yeah, you don't know that song? It's from Guardians, bro. I'm hooked on a feeling.
I'm asleep.
Oh, come on, bro.
Anyways, I need to wake up.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Above the Multiverse podcast. You already know what it be. I am Adrian Blest.
I am Avery Harden.
And that's yes, and we are excited because today's another special episode where we are going to go see a movie, not just any movie.
On the what? Above.
Oh, hey, we woke up the above. You got the nighttime. I got the daytime. All right,
the multiverse.
Above the multiverse. We rocking the merch and everything. See,
Yeah.
but today we are going to see Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, movie that we've been waiting for a long time.
Yeah, man. Why were we watching the freaking? We should have watched the
Guardians?
red carpet thing.
Oh, that was last week. I watched it.
I watched. I think I seen like Bradley Cooper.
Yeah, I mean, I got over it. Like, I don't know. Like a lot of these stars, I didn't feel like seeing. So there was for people that don't know, there's always like a red carpet premiere that happens to be like the week before the movie comes out. And it's all the celebrities. They do like little 30-second interviews, a minute interview, whatever.
Yeah.
And I don't know. This one was like cool, but I saw Vin Diesel's. He was super cringy.
Yeah,
he was super cringy, bro.
Yeah.
He was on some weird,
cringe.
triple cringe shit. Shout out to Triple C and Aljamain.
Yeah, triple cringe for sure.
But
I'm looking at Vin Diesel. I'm like,
dude, it was so stupid, bro.
Yeah.
He looked so dumb.
I think you know what's crazy?
He wears a Groot suit jacket.
I seen it. You know what's crazy? I feel like people who love Vin Diesel are the same people like me. We are the same people when it comes to The Rock. Like I feel like people are cringe about Rock, but I love Rock. You know what I mean? I love The Rock. So like,
I mean,
I feel like Vin Diesel has his people that like him.
Vin Diesel's cool in movies, but like when real life, he's
not
a weirdo.
Even movies, dude.
He's a weirdo.
I was just watching.
Okay, well, Fast 17, bro.
Yeah,
no one cares about that one.
But like, bro, I was literally watching the preview and like in the car, he was like, "I'm coming for you, son," and it's like. That is whack. Why would you put that in there? But that's going down a whole different rabbit hole. This is about Guardians, and we can talk about Guardians, man.
Yes,
I will talk forever. But I'm gonna see Fast 10. Trust me. But it's just like, why would they put that? I think I stopped seeing it after
the last. I don't know. The last one I saw was right before the one where The Rock first got in it, I think.
Oh, that's Hobbs and Shaw. Oh,
before that. 7?
I don't even know which number.
7,
I don't even know what number that is.
Anyways, but we are here today because we are actually about to go see Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, and I'm super excited. I know Avery's excited. We've been, like we said, we've been waiting for this for a long time. So right now we are kind of just chilling. We actually were playing some 2K. Not gonna lie, Avery did whoop on me twice. The second game was a lot closer, but then he changed the settings up, and I don't know. And then all of a sudden, I couldn't make a shot, so I don't know what happened after that. But
I just changed the 3-pointer because the shot meter is horrible. I'll teach him how to play it though, because I got to figure that out. The way he had a shot meter, it just like you could not make a 3-pointer.
Because it was it was a close game. It was a close game.
It's a delay on your 3-point, but that's another story.
I got to figure it out.
But the first game was fair.
Yeah, first game was fair.
And I smacked him.
Yeah, he smacked me bad.
I smacked him.
Smacked me bad. I think
second
I was like 20
game,
points.
He did pretty good, but I just was tired of missing my 3-pointers. And I'm like, dude, there's something wrong with this. But it's just different settings. But anyways, that's what we were doing before.
So you'll see some footage of that too. But we were, but yeah, we're about to go see it. So we have, we're going to keep this part short, obviously. And then like we did for the Ant-Man movie when we went to go see Ant-Man, we keep this part, a little intimate short part to introduce you. We're going to go see the movie, which you guys are going to come with us to watch the movie.
And
then we're going to come back.
And what we always say, Spoiler alert, bro.
Oh yeah, spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert,
this
bro.
We're gonna give you this little bit now. So when we, because after this little part where we go see the movie, it's spoiler central. All right.
I don't even know. It's super spoiler too, because I think we're seeing it the day before it drops. So like we're seeing it. This is Thursday, and I think he's dropping it tomorrow, which means you're probably gonna have to watch the rest of the clip after you go watch it, which is probably like Saturday. Honestly, I don't even know when you're gonna drop it.
I mean, I feel like people who are watching our podcasts, who are like dedicated to watching our podcast, who are real Marvel fans, you're probably already going to go see it today too, or you're going to see it tomorrow.
Yeah.
So like, I feel like they're probably going to. So that way, you watch it, and then right after you watch it, you come home and you watch us.
Yeah. Facts. So just a fair warning, man. Spoiler, because I know. Shout out to your homeboy D. What's his name?
Delroy.
Delroy. Like Delroy always told you to spoil stuff. So this is a big spoiler alert, guys.
Yeah, spoiler alert. You're gonna see spoilers coming up. But before, I want to talk a little bit about theories, because we. I feel like we already talked about it on the last episode pretty much, but any major predictions, anything that you think that's gonna happen that
me personally, I think.
What are you looking for in this movie? Like, what do you think?
I'm looking for connection. You already know that's my thing. I'm looking for a connection. How does it connect to the story?
We've talked about that before. James Gunn is like not famous for it, but he like the biggest thing that he's done for Marvel is like world building, right? Is like he introduced the Infinity Stones, and he introduced like Thanos and all that stuff. So he might introduce Galactus in this movie, which would be fucking cool.
Which one's the Galactus again?
Galactus is like he's like the size of one of those what are the guys from Eternals? Like a Celestial.
Oh, word?
And he like eats planets, and he sends the Silver Surfer to find planets for him. To like go to eat planets.
Oh, shoot.
Yeah, and so he's out there just devouring planets somewhere. But he's coming. He's coming.
Also, through the trailers, Marvel always throws pump fakes at us.
Yes.
From the trailers, it looks like they're fighting the
Adam Warlock.
The dude.
Oh, why can't I think of his name? The guy with his baseball bat.
He's a big
why can't I think of his
part
name?
of it, right? And then you fight in Adam Warlock, which I think is gonna happen. Is he's gonna join their team?
Oh yeah, for sure. Adam Warlock's gonna become good.
He's gonna join their team, and then they're gonna get Buddy out of there. I think it's a bigger villain in this, so it might be your Galactus dude.
Yeah. Well, I know there's two. I feel like
it could be a bigger villain.
Yeah, I know there's two end credit scenes.
Because this dude looks like whack. Like not whack, but it's like I'm not gonna lie. Like I'm not scared of this guy. Like I was scared of Thanos. I was scared of Kang. Like
yeah, but but not every movie has like that villain that's like scary. Like for all these movies, because even like Ronan the Accuser was scary. Ego, like I wasn't like Ego was like whatever in the last one. His dad.
Ego's scary.
Ego is scary.
He's a god.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a god.
So. But he wasn't like scary as that much. It was just like a fun ride.
I'm saying like you can control what happens. Like you know what I mean? Like it's always a scary villain. So I don't know. I feel like this guy is just a pump fake, and we might get the Galactus. What if we get that dude and Eternals have to like fight him?
Yeah, that's the thing is like
they
Marvel
can't beat him though.
Like the Marvel has I think that Marvel has tricked. It's weird because there's so many Marvel movies at this point. That when like sometimes they've like showed us stuff in the trailer and then it wasn't in the movie, or like and it's like completely different, or they show us stuff in the trailer and then we're like, oh, okay, that was like actually the whole movie. You know what I mean? So and then we get disappointed because we're like, damn, I thought like they were just kind of tricking us, but then really everything they showed us is exactly what is the movie. You know? But I don't think. I mean, it is James Gunn, like probably James Gunn's last movie in Marvel. So if that is the case, then we might have some major stuff that happens.
Yeah.
And we're kind of getting deeper into like the whole like multiverse saga, right? It's like we've already done phase this is phase 5 now, right?
I don't even know, honestly.
Yeah, I think we're in phase 5 right now. We've kind of been lost, out of because everything's slowed down, so it's kind of weird. Like
and
now
I've been gone.
Yeah, and everybody's been gone, so. But hopefully it's gonna be dope. I think this movie is the one movie that everyone's gonna go see because it's Guardians, and I think it's the finale of Guardians, and I think they're gonna. If they're trying to draw people back into Marvel, because they're losing a lot of people, because like there's been oversaturation. I think this would be the movie to be like, let's get people back in. This something crazy has to happen to like be like, bro, you gotta watch this movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think this might be the one.
I'm hoping that me personally, I want the connection, obviously, but I definitely want like somebody. I want a cameo. I need a cameo. I need Wong. I need Hulk. I need Hulk.
I mean, obviously,
Hulk could pull up. Was he on what do you call it?
They never really interacted with.
Yeah, but I'm saying, didn't he go to space?
Oh yeah, I guess. But then he came.
Hey,
maybe. But then he came back at the end, and he was with his son. Remember, he just went and got his son and came back.
That's true.
They didn't even show it.
That's true. Danvers, Captain Marvel. She might pop out. She's in space. I feel like Samuel Jackson is for sure going to be in this movie somewhere. Maybe in post credit scenes. For sure, I feel like
let's see. We'll see who like they bring in, because like that was the cool thing about like Shang-Chi, right? Is like they brought in different people and like at the end and like connected stuff, and you're like, okay, what's going on with this like 10 ring shit?
Yeah,
and, like,
exactly.
Now it's like Ant-Man's kind of seeing like the you've seen Kang stuff, and obviously, so we'll see what happens, but hopefully it's some good stuff. I've been trying to avoid spoilers and stuff, so you guys do the same. So we're actually about to leave right now to go watch it. So what we're gonna do. We
didn't give a prediction.
I think Galactus is coming. I think because Fantastic Four is coming soon. They're supposed to announce. So another big thing that's happening is that we haven't really talked about, that I wanted to talk about in the last podcast, is the big news that they've been talking about is Fantastic Four and casting Fantastic Four. And Adam Driver they're pretty for sure that Adam Driver is Mr. Fantastic. And then I heard that they got Margot Robbie to play Miss Invisible.
Nah.
Yeah, Margot Robbie.
Oh.
Yeah. And then
Fantastic Four might be elite.
And then they were saying that there was like talks with Mila Kunis and stuff too. So I don't know. Like they were saying that she was gonna play the Thing, but then she denied it, and she said that they already, like, I don't know, it's weird. It was a whole saga last week.
Yeah.
But
don't do that, man.
But yeah,
I feel like they're gonna try to do like trans thing.
Yeah, no, they've talked about, like, I saw a whole thing where they were talking about like they were gonna just roll reverse, but they're not gonna change the thing. I mean, come on.
No disrespect to the LGBTQ plus, but like, come on, man.
His name is called the Thing. Yeah, right? He got that thing, you know. So you can't can't change it up.
You remember when the Thing married the black girl, the black chick?
The blind chick? Or was she blind? Yeah, like in the movie.
What's her name? Kerry Washington.
Oh, was it Kerry Washington?
Yeah. The Thing married her in Fantastic Four. That's a crazy. That's wild.
I need to watch that again. That's been a while since I watched that. But Fantastic Four is coming out, bro.
Yeah, I went there.
Hey, first off,
let's go, baby.
But yeah, we'll see what happens. I mean, I think if Kerry Washington is in this movie, that'd be dope too. We can have Kerry Washington in this movie.
Her blonde again? Nah, don't do that story again.
Maybe she'll be the Human Torch, you know?
Yeah. Dang. Well, shoot, I'm excited to see what happens. We definitely, one thing that we do know for sure, that's not a spoiler, is our boy Kang's not gonna be in this.
Yeah. No Jonathan Majors for a while, guys. We're gonna be on. We were on Kang Watch before. Now we're on Jonathan Major Watch. Yeah. It's like we were like, "Where's Kang? Where's Kang? Where's Kang?" And now it's like, "Dude, where's Jonathan Majors at, bro? Man. Hopefully not in jail."
Yeah. I haven't heard anything about that.
I haven't heard anything either. But all right. This is what we're going to do, all right, guys? So we're going to take a little break. Well, not going to take a break, but we're going to push it to, our little adventure, going to see the movie. And then you guys follow us. You come with us. You see the movie. We'll come back. We'll talk about it, all right? So
we'll be right back.
Well, actually, we're not going to be right back. We're just let's push it. Push it. Like, let's put time, my boy.
You know what I'm saying? About to go see Nebula. Who else? About to go see Drax for the last time, you know what I mean? Rocket.
I'm really curious to see who's going to die, bro. I don't know who's going to die.
Drax is dying, bro. Drax is dying. Rocket's dying. And his girlfriend dying.
No, not the otter, bro.
Yeah,
we're in Long Beach. This is the aquarium's right here. We gotta.
Groot dying. Everybody gonna die. Actually, the whole cast gonna die.
Oh, maybe Groot dies and then is reborn again, right? As another version of Groot, or maybe he evolves into like a different, even crazier version. Because there's a King Groot.
Oh shoot, really?
Yeah, which is dope.
All right, maybe. I don't know. All I know is Drax is for sure dying. That's the one thing I know. I'm gonna wait till the podcast, but chef's kiss, man. Chef's kiss.
Alright, guys. Fuck you.
Hey, my boy. We made it to the end. Sorry. It's a cold world. It's a sad world, too.
Bro.
Yeah, it's a sad world for sure. It's good. It's good. That was a good ending, though.
Hell
That's
yeah.
a great way to go out. You know what I mean? But check me out. Everybody's alive in this one. So, like, they did it the right way.
All of our predictions were wrong.
Yeah, they did it the right way. I thought that was pretty cool. The predictions was wrong, which was unpredictable, and I like that about the movies. It was unpredictable.
Oh man, I'm not crying. All right, my eyes are puffy just because it was allergy. There was wind and dust in there and stuff. I don't know what happened. I didn't know what part to cry at, bro. I was crying. I was crying at the animals. I was crying at the people. I was crying at the love story. I was like, dude, this is way too emotional right now. Oh yeah.
That was
What a ride, though. What a ride.
That was a
fucking ride, guys.
That was a Black Panther like feel.
Yeah, as far as
Wakanda Forever feel.
Yeah, like what?
Like a roller coaster of emotions.
Super. That's what when I was going to the bathroom right afterwards, I was like, damn, that was like a roller coaster of emotions. Like that's literally what I was thinking of. Like, holy shit, bro. Man, that was a lot. Ugh. Anyways, back to the podcast. Woo! Oh man. Fuck, bro.
Man.
F-U-C-K.
That was
I-N-G.
That was a really good movie.
Dude,
Great job, James
Yeah,
Gunn.
seriously.
Great
Round of
job.
applause. Round of applause for James Gunn.
Great job, man.
I'll digitally put some in.
Great job. I was when we walked up the stairs, going up to the movie. He probably put it in. I don't know if he inserted it. If he did it, I was telling this dude, I was like, I don't have no expectations for this movie at all. Like I was just like, I'm gonna see it. I'm excited to see it because it's a Marvel joint. I just didn't have nothing because it, like y'all know me, I'm with the connections, and I felt like it wasn't gonna have a connection. So I was like, man, I don't have no expectations. And when I went in, I was like, yo, this is really good.
Dude.
This is amazing.
God.
It started off with a bang, like.
Yeah.
Adam Warlord was like on goal, and I was like, "Oh shoot,
dude, that was crazy." And we already put the no spoilers, but just another heads up, so you know, spoilers, all coming through at this time.
Shout out to Adam.
Oh, you know what? Let me make sure this is actually.
Shout out to Adam. What's his name? Adam Warlord. Adam Warlock. Warlock. My bad. See how much of a comic dude I am. Adam Warlock. Shout out to him. Do you know the actor that played him?
I know
he's good. He
Will
was at the We're the Millers. It was he did really good, man. You killed it, my boy.
So okay, audio's fixed. Everything's good. Yes. So this fucking movie, or maybe mine's not working.
Your mic's not on?
Let me see. Check.
Yeah.
Wait, you don't say nothing. Check. Yeah, mine's not.
Oh snap! Dree's mic's not on, man. He having technical difficulties. But while he's sitting there doing this thing, working on it, I just want to let y'all know, man. Go see Guardians of the Galaxy. It was absolutely phenomenal, dog. And yeah, man. I'm not gonna lie. It was one of I put it in my top. I put it in my top favorite Marvel films. You know what I mean? It's probably top. I put it's probably top 10. Top 10.
So let me now that my mic's working. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, back to the podcast. Doesn't look like it's recording, but it says it is. I don't know. Whatever.
Yeah.
Because look at how when you do it, yours pops. Look at it. So mine's talking.
Check.
See how yours records, and then mine does it on the bottom one. Oh, you know why? I'm dumb.
Was it recording the whole time?
Dude, let me just start off by saying this. This movie fucks me up emotionally, mentally, physically. I don't know what's going on. Obviously, the reason it's doing that and showing yours is because it's highlighted on yours. So it's only showing yours. That's why I'm like, oh my God. So mine is recording up there. I can see it.
Okay, cool.
This is why we need sound people, guys. This is why we need more subscribers, because I can't be doing all this by myself, especially after coming back from seeing this movie. Because this shit emotionally drained me. Emotion roller coaster, just fucking wild, bro.
Yeah, it's really good.
So definitely a fucking great movie. The one thing I immediately thought of when I got out, went straight to the bathroom, and I was like emotional roller coaster, bro. Like the whole entire time, like I was crying. I was crying at fucking. There was so much going on. I was just like, dude, this is a lot. This is a lot of emotion, bro. Like they packed it in.
They made it very, very like super duper emotional, especially because they put the pets in there. Like it was like a lot of animals, like a lot of animals, like and like you felt really sorry for the animals. And it was like I ain't gonna lie.
It's almost like they were trying to hit every emotion, right? Like they're trying to get anyone to cry, no matter who it was, right? It's like, oh, you want to cry about animals? Here's the animal things. Oh, you want to cry about kids in cages? Here's some kids in cages. Oh, you want to cry about a heartbroken dude and how he's not being able to find love or whatever? Cry about that.
Or the mom, like Adam Warlock and his mom.
Adam and his mom, and like you want to cry about that? Do you want to cry about what was the other one? Mantis and Drax.
Yeah.
Like, you want to cry about that? Do you want to cry about, like, what do you want to cry about? We're going to give you something to cry about, bro. Like, pick your poison. What do you want? And for me, it was all five of them at the same time. And
they put deep on the heart. They put it on the heartstrings crazy there. Like, really dope. And I'm not going to lie, man. Like, I teared up a little bit, too, man. Like, I was in there like, whoa. Because the Rocket thing, the Rocket's life, like, yo, that's crazy. It's cool that they left it to the end, because if we had that in the beginning, bro, we would have loved Rocket as just as much, but we would have fell in love. With him due to the fact of what happened to him, man. Like, because, jeez, like, it's just really deep, like how, like, what he went through and like who he lost.
God,
it's like,
bro.
Yo, like,
so bad. So
Yeah.
let's start from the beginning. Let's kind of walk through it so that way we can kind of like relive it, rewatch it. For people who've seen it, obviously you should have seen it if you're watching this.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Avery mentioned it earlier, but like, boom, start off with the bang. Adam Warlock. I was really happy that a lot of the stuff that we saw in the trailer was in the first 5-10 minutes of the movie.
Yeah, they threw a pump fake.
Yeah.
So everybody that's watching, we told you spoiler alerts, but in the trailer, they had all the Guardians coming like slow motion, holding freaking Peter Quill, only for him to be drunk.
Yeah, like that was the first. That was the first second. Yeah, that was funny though. That was good.
Like super dramatic thing, but like in the trailers, when you watch it, it looks like he's hurt or something. But like that's like the first 3, 4, or 5 minutes of the film, and all he is just drunk, and they're taking him to his bed, and they're just walking like in slow motion.
Yeah,
which
they
is
definitely.
crazy.
It was
That
a huge
super
mislead
pump
where
fake.
they made us think that like, you definitely thought Peter was gonna die, or, something, or he was gonna get hurt or something. You know, another thing
That's
so let's start off with that. How it was different from the trailers. Yes, most of that stuff was in there. One major flaw that I will say that it gave me, and I'll just, my only criticism is the marketing. Right, I'm in marketing. I look at marketing a lot. The trailer, one of the trailers showed Rocket sitting on the table, like awake, you know what I mean? And when he's like sitting there and he takes off like his mask or whatever, and he's like, that was dramatic, but they didn't show that in the movie. But the whole entire time I'm thinking, oh, Rocket's he's gonna be fine. Like I didn't feel like that sense of, because I saw the trailer where he was like awake in the trailer. Yeah. Like I was like, oh, like he's gonna live.
Dang, that sucks. Okay, so this is perfect. This is perfect because he said he saw that trailer. I'd never seen that trailer. So my thing was like, yo, Rocket's gonna die. Yeah. Like I'm thinking this whole time.
And that's what I was thinking while I was watching it. I was like, fuck, I wish I wouldn't have seen that, because I feel like I would have really, really, really thought Rocket's gonna die.
I really thought Rocket was sitting there like, yo, Rocket's gonna die, especially
towards the end. Like
spoiler.
Okay, you don't have to say spoilers anymore, because if you're this far, you're in. Especially because of the end, because this is a full movie review. He actually died and went with his friends in heaven, and they were like, oh, like, can I come with you? And I was like, yo, it's over. Yeah,
it's over.
So
I thought it was over.
I thought maybe like, I was like, well, maybe they misled me in the trailers, and like he really is gonna die. You know, like,
that's crazy. But yeah, that's a huge mislead because I didn't watch that trailer, so maybe I've seen it and I just looked over it. But yeah, watching it from the trailers and also like not seeing him often in the trailers and seeing what was happening with him being kind of like hurt the whole time, I thought he really was gonna die. Yeah.
And that's why I was like, fuck, man, like I wish I wouldn't have seen that, because then I probably would have really genuinely thought that he was gonna die, and then I would have been crying even more, because I was like, fuck, Rocket's gonna die, you know? And they really built up his like whole storyline and everything.
Yeah, that was dope. I like the way they went in and out of his past without like being like, oh, so what happened to you? It just kind of like blended in with the story, and it was a cool like way to go to a flashback. I was like, oh yeah, that's dope. How they're doing it. Yeah.
So it's cool because let's kind of run through it. So I mean, beginning, you see where the Guardians are. They're all on nowhere, which is we saw them last time in the Christmas special, and this time like they're all kind of like everyone's kind of doing their own thing.
I love that.
That they're on nowhere and they're kind of built their own society and stuff. And
even Kraglin, the dude,
he's like practicing his his really arrow. Cool. They showed Cosmo. The Wonder Dog, whatever the Astro Dog, whatever he is. But like Cosmo, and then they're all chilling on nowhere, which is cool, and you kind of get to see where everyone like left off. They're quick to address a lot of things that that I thought maybe they were gonna have to the one thing that I'm thinking of is that Mantis. We found out that Mantis and Peter are brother and sister in the Christmas special, right? So I was like, I wonder how they're gonna dress, how they're gonna use it. Like, is it gonna make it more emotional? Is there gonna be something set up with that? Yeah. But they really just in the very beginning, she's like, "That's your brother. You should look after him." And then she's like, "Well, even though he's my brother, he doesn't listen to me." And then I was like, "Okay, cool." That was like the only thing that they did to address the whole entire movie. Like that's all they did to address that, which is whatever, interesting. And then, so start off, obviously, Peter's depressed. Rocket's trying to help him. They kind of do their own thing. And then as soon as, it kind of starts off, right away, boom, you're kind of seeing where they're at. There's, some music. Obviously, one thing I'll say, the music was fucking bomb.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, obviously, it's a Guardians movie. The music's always going to be good. But for this one, this music hit. That intro with Creep, I'm a creep. Yeah. That whole intro was just, beautiful compared to the other ones that we've seen, right? The other the first movie, it's a funny kind of you're hearing them it's a poppy happy. Yeah. And the second one, they're fighting, and then baby Groot turns on the music and starts dancing, and it's really happy and playful. This one was very somber, very it's Creep by Radiohead. So it's I'm a creep, just and they almost slowed it down even more, which was really cool, really interesting, really built tension and stuff. And then boom, right away you're kind of you see them where they're at, all this stuff. They put Peter to bed, he's drunk, you kind of see everything, and out of nowhere, boom, just fucking Adam Warlock comes straight through, fucking hits Rocket.
Yeah, crazy.
Yeah, they start all the Guardians try to fight Adam Warlock, which
that
Adam Warlock,
he was whooping Nate.
Yeah, he was, fucked them up. He's bad.
He's a beast for sure. I rock with Adam Warlock, even though he was a villain in the beginning, but he came around.
Yeah, he redeemed himself. It's because I guess the whole thing with him is that they kind of show that the High Evolutionary took him out of his cocoon earlier than he was supposed to be, so he's kind of dumb, right? That's the whole thing is that he's not he really was how Vision is I was born yesterday. He was literally born yesterday.
Exactly.
It's it's one of those things. So, but he's more developed than not more developed than Vision, but maybe on the same level as Vision, I guess.
Nah, Vision probably way more.
I don't know. Vision's definitely smarter, so he probably outsmarted him. But as far as raw power and stuff, I feel Adam Warlock is more powerful.
Yeah.
But it was sick. So they all try to fight him.
He was whooping
and
everybody.
That's what kicks off the whole story, right? Which was really cool. I didn't think that was gonna be the plot right there. Basically, Adam Warlock fucks everybody up. Yeah. Except for fucking who ends up being the one to kind of stop him at the end. Someone hurts him or someone. Oh, it's Drax. Him and Drax are fighting, and he gets on top of Drax and starts beating the shit out of him. And then Nebula comes with her new arm and stabbed him. Right? Remember, she stabbed him in the middle.
Yes.
And he's like, "Oh,
I thought he was dead. I thought he was dead right there." I was like,
"They killed him already." Yeah. But I also knew from the trailer, every time something like that happens, that's why I don't know if I should watch trailers anymore, because because of that, I knew that was gonna happen.
Also, because I think this is the reason why you be tripping in your head, because you watch New Rockstars and they break it down.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out what's happening the whole entire time. I'm trying to put it all together.
Because I'm not gonna lie, man. Maybe that is bad. Side note, maybe that's bad because, I said, I was all the way in Australia and I didn't know anything about this movie, doing my thing, just kind of going, and then I came here and I was like, all right, we're gonna watch Guardians, but I have no idea. I've probably seen 2 trailers, maybe. I couldn't even watch New Rockstars, and then seeing it right now, and I'm like, wow, dude, it's just amazing. I didn't have any expectations. I didn't know what was happening, whatever. But anyways, yeah, I think that's probably what it is, man. We sometimes are so in trying to get every
Every
nook and
detail,
cranny,
then
and
we
it,
get
and it
too
messes
much,
up.
yeah.
Yeah, it messes up. But
Get
like,
too much.
but that gives us ammo for our podcast.
Yeah, that's what I was also thinking too. It's like a double-edged sword. It's
Yeah.
like we kind of have to watch it because that's like the content we use for our podcast. You know, to talk about like all the Marvel stuff, the trailers and everything that's breaking down. But then when we go see it, it kind of ruins the experience a little bit. So, but I don't know. We'll have to find that balance and we'll figure it out. We'll figure out a way to still keep talking about stuff without.
I mean, Eric Voss does it, so we gotta figure out how to do it. Yeah.
But yes. So like, Adam, that whole thing basically. Adam Warlock, he ends up fucking. I think like he shoots Rocket, and basically almost kills Rocket, and that's essentially what kicks off the whole entire story. Right now,
they have to save Rocket.
After that, Adam Warlock takes off, and they're like their whole thing is like we got to save Rocket. They try to put the medical pack. So like one thing that was really cool is they showed like how Nebula broke her arm.
It was Mantis
broke her arm. They put that little med pack on, and it just popped it back in his socket. So they're thinking you're just gonna put it back onto Rocket, right? And he's gonna be good, but the High Evolutionary, our main villain of this movie.
Which I was totally wrong, because I was like, I think right before we went, I think I was like, yo, the High Evolutionary, like I'm not scared of him, but like he was pretty bad. Yeah.
He's scary.
He was bad,
and he's like an actual bad guy, like where it's like a lot of people like they have redeeming qualities about themselves. Like, like they have like some sort of redeeming where you're like, I like this guy, something. Yeah. Like you're really just like, fuck this dude, bro. Like he's a dick, and he just deserves to die, bro.
Yeah, for sure.
Which we'll get to. We'll get more into that later, but you know, essentially, Rocket that he had installed like a device on his on his heart or something to stop him from being able to be fixed or anybody going inside to like mess with him. So to like kind of like figure out, I guess, kind of to protect his invention or his like technology, I guess, because Rocket is his property as he sees it. So they have to like then it kicks off this whole journey of trying to figure out where he came from and what he what his thing is. And as Rocket's dying, to bring up what Avery was mentioning earlier, is as Rocket's dying, he's having like these visions and flashbacks of his life. Like his life is flashing before his eyes, almost like, right? So he's like reliving his life, and we're seeing that as he's dying, which was really, I thought, a really cool way to tell the story.
Yeah, shout out
instead
James
of just being like
him
like him being like,
this is what happened.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's like you don't have to explain it. Like you're watching it and seeing it, and it gives you a more emotional thing because you're like, damn, like. He went through a lot, you know, and then also
a lot.
Yeah,
like when you watch this movie, I forget his name.
Well, they should probably have already watched it.
I'm saying if you watch it, like if me personally, like this is one of those movies that is probably gonna make me hate the villain. Like I hate the villain in real life now.
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean? Like that's happening with.
And he doesn't have that many redeeming qualities because the only other time we've ever seen him is on Peacemaker, and he was the bad guy on Peacemaker too. So it's like
man, like
you gotta say some kids in the movie or something.
Yeah, it's been and that's happened.
Hug a puppy.
That's happened to me a lot of times where I like see an actor and I'm like, yo, they really did their job because I hate them.
Yeah, look at Anthony Mackie.
Yeah. Well, Anthony Mackie, he's redeeming himself a little bit. Yeah, I mean, shout out my boy.
He's a real Captain America.
But yeah, this guy was a really bad of the MCU, which was
like his whole motive was just. I mean, he's a High Evolutionary, so his whole motive is just to essentially create his thing was to perfect life almost, right? Like because what you find out at the end is when she's like, oh, God save us, and he says there is no God. That's why I had to step in.
Yeah,
like which is crazy to think about that he even like consider yourself. It is that God complex that drives people crazy, that makes them wild.
And it's crazy. I mean, we're kind of really fast forwarding, but like I just want to say, like, I think it's crazy how he's trying to perfect whatever he's trying to perfect, but every being that he says is perfect is so flawed. Adam Warlock, and even Ivan Warlock's mom, I forget his name. I forget the lady's name, that the gold people.
It's like the only perfect thing that he made was Rocket.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, we're not even then. Like, he hates Rocket. He just wants his brain.
Yeah.
Like, he made nothing perfect. Nothing's perfect. Like, and I think that's for me purpose. That's what I saw. Like, I was like, oh shoot. Like,
even though he's trying to create perfection, he still can't.
Destroyed a freaking counter Earth just to you know what I mean? And then he's gonna make another. Like, we can't perfect it, bro. Like,
he's just in a constant verge of like trying to create, right? Like the experiment 1, that one didn't work. Experiment 2, that one didn't work. That and he's just going and going and going. And obviously, it's getting better and better and more advanced and stuff, like because of the civilizations that he built. But what you find, one of the so you kind of find out that they find out that it's before they kind of did they show the High Evolutionary like before that, like or did they kind of just like Well, you kind of see him right away because it starts off with Rocket.
Adam Warlock goes back.
Oh yeah, so
Adam Warlock.
So you find out that Adam Warlock, obviously, we're assuming that he's created by the sovereign people, right? The sovereign people.
Mm-hmm.
I guess that's their name. The gold people. They make you believe that they were the ones who created him, but it turns out that not only did Adam Warlock was created by the High Evolutionary, but the High Evolutionary created the whole civilization of
which is wild.
The sovereign people, like the gold people.
Yeah.
So that was crazy too, because like he's built like almost like even them he thought were perfect, but their egos are so fucked that like they're like weird, they're weirdos, and like they like end up they're their own downfall essentially, right?
Yeah.
So it's pretty crazy. Like every life that he tries to create is like just not perfect.
Yeah.
Which is crazy because then like he built like he's taking life forms of different places and like experimenting on them. So like he like made humans like the sovereign people are almost like people, right?
Yeah.
And then there's like animal people that he like took animals and created like people like stuff. So like it's interesting to think that I feel like they could have gone a little bit deeper with like kind of the stuff that he made, right? If you start really diving into it, it's like why wouldn't he apply animal traits to humans as opposed to like applying human traits to animals, like and just like making humans better, like maybe because he is human, so his whole thing is just like about humans, like I don't know, it's weird, like he's trying to make everything like a new better human. It's interesting. He's an interesting character for sure, but
I feel like they could have went a little deeper, but like I mean it was already long. I think it was like 2.5 hours, maybe it was more than that.
But yeah, so
because I feel like it was like 3. I feel like we watched
7.
I feel like we watched 3 movies.
Yeah,
it felt like that. It was
long. It felt forever. But so essentially you find out that Adam Warlock is a dumbass and that his mom is the leader of the sovereign people.
Yeah.
And Adam Warlock and the High Evolutionary created all of that. So you start to kind of figure out like, okay, well, Rocket's getting his stuff. Our Rocket's like the way to save Rocket is to find High Evolutionary. They end up going to that one like planet, that prison planet or kind of thing.
Yeah.
That like
I don't even know what that was.
Orgacorp or something like that. It was like an organ.
Yeah.
So they end up going to like have to find out. They find out that so Nebula, right? Nebula's able to link into the computer of Rocket's like biology and stuff and see that he has code in there. So go learn code. Go to school and learn code because it might come in handy to save your best friend one day. But they end up finding that there's code in there and it links to this one invention company who creates like technology, whatever technology company. They go there to try to find out what's going on with it. That place was fucking crazy.
Yeah.
That whole like Orgacorp thing, it's like a instead of a world that they built like from like dirt or something, or like from like unorganic sources, they use organic tissue to grow itself and create a thing.
I don't know who said this. Maybe it was Eric Voss. I don't know if it was New Rock Stars. Don't quote me. But they were saying that could be like a celestial.
Yeah.
So like
how Nowhere is like the head of a celestial. That could be like the organs and guts of a celestial. Which I was thinking too.
Is dope.
I thought they were gonna say, but it kind of like they kind of implied that like they grew it almost like by it, like they use like organic tissue to grow its own thing.
Mm-hmm.
But the whole concept of it was fucking crazy because like every material and every detail of that place was like almost like kind of gross. It was gross. Like the outside of it looks nasty, but then also when they land, like it's like literally like a giant like
blob.
Skin, like flat, like fat, like skin, like human skin, and then they like cut it open and it's like this blood comes out, like yellow blood, and it's like dude, everything's squishy and everything's like it kind of gave me like the heebie-jeebies. I'll say like that. I don't know a better word to like say, but that's like kind of made me feel weird. I was like, this is nasty.
Yeah.
But yeah, they end up Tofu. Do not knock off that light, please.
He's wild.
He's going. Oh my god, this guy. But yeah, so that place was wild, and that whole scene was cool. That I mean, obviously, I was gonna say too. Obviously, there's a lot of funny shit that happens in it while it's happening.
Man,
that was a good one.
I think this is the best. This is the best Dave Bautista.
Oh, for sure. Bautista. This was his Max acting.
He definitely and he. I feel like he definitely was like, yo, like I'm gonna show these fools, like I can really act. Like, and he did his thing, man. Like he went out with a bang, and like I'm excited. Like side note, I'm excited to see him. I just seen the Dune 2 trailer. He's in Dune.
Oh
He's in
yeah,
Dune
I just saw that too. Yeah,
so I'm excited to see what he does because I feel like that's definitely gonna
more
be
like a dramatic role.
like a
serious
big
role.
dramatic role because there's no really funny in that.
Yeah.
Like I mean, Timothy Chalamet and Zendaya have like some funny parts, but like other than that, everybody's really serious. But I'm excited to see what he does.
Well, that's what I was gonna mention is that I feel like this movie did a great job of capping everyone's story, right? What it's like a full story arc. This really completed everyone's story because you got to see Drax's story completed, which we'll get into. Well, we're gonna get into everyone's story, but you see everyone's story almost complete and kind of like come to like a good resolution, I would say. Yeah. As far as everyone's story.
Not really.
Whose?
Gamora.
Well, Gamora's whole thing was that she was like almost like looking for family, right? So hers was resolved because she was trying to find a family, and Peter obviously wanted it to be the Guardians, but to her, she doesn't know the Guardians. So to her family, her outlet, her thing that she ended up finding, which was essentially a parallel to her finding the Guardians as the Gamora we knew. This Gamora found the Ravagers and ended up becoming like best friends with them. So she almost formed her own Guardians as a Ravager. She took like Peter Quill's spot almost, which was pretty crazy. Which was that I thought that was a cool resolution for her story too.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah.
But yeah, she did a great job and dude, she's so fine in this movie too. Like there's some parts where she was wearing like the baggy like orange like jumpsuit, and even in that she had ass. Yeah. I was like, dude,
for sure. She was looking good. Yeah, she was looking good. For sure.
Yes. So
for sure. Let's talk about James Gunn's wife too. Shout out James Gunn, man.
Oh, so
I like James Gunn's wife.
So James Gunn's wife, I'm pretty sure it's James Gunn's wife. She's the one from Peacemaker who's like the blonde chick who's like the main chick. She was also played a good role, like a little funny role in this movie where she was kind of like she worked at that prison that we were talking about, like that, or not prison, like that technology company. Yeah. With the organic technology company. So she's bad, bro. She's pretty. Yeah. She's really pretty. Yeah. So shout out James Gunn, bro. You're winning everywhere.
Yeah, everywhere.
But yeah, so after they go in, they end up finding a file. That they get a file of Rocket's like code, like his organic stuff, so they are able to like take that heart piece thing that's protecting his heart, or like protecting them from getting in. They're able to get that off, or to get the code at least. They have that little orb, which it was funny because in New Rockstars they were like theorizing on what does he have in his hand. Like could it be another Infinity Stone? Is that a new thing? And it's like it ends up just being like a file for like Rocket.
That's funny.
Which is interesting. It's funny how like we end up digging it all so much deep into it, trying to figure out, and it's like what, and then you find out it's just like an insignificant thing. Right?
I mean, it was significant for the movie, but not like for the
the bigger
story,
picture. Yeah. So they end up finding that. They end up So from there, they take it back.
They don't have the actual the dude erased it.
Oh, he erased the part that they needed.
And Peter Quill bumped into him and figured out who he was, and then they found out exactly his coordinates, and they went to it.
And that's where they get to Counter Earth, and that's when that part was sick too.
Yeah,
Counter Earth was because you're already been seeing like throughout this, you're seeing how Rocket's been being experimented on. So before we get to the Counter Earth stuff, let's jump back a little bit to like Rocket's flashbacks, right? Because that was for me probably the best parts of the movie. Is like Baby Rocket was the cutest thing, and I wanted to cry so bad seeing like even just the opening scene of you see the baby raccoons and the thing and like his hand and like and grabs him, and you just like their faces are so cute and they're just like so innocent and like little babies, like puppies. I love like like puppies and little baby animals. So like it hurt my heart, bro, to see that. And they did a really good job of like kind of showing how he took Rocket, and Rocket was able to it kind of sets up the whole reason for why he's looking for Rocket. Yeah, because the reason even Adam Warlock comes to them in the first place is because you think it's because or at least the way they set it up based off the other movies, right?
He stole
the batteries. So you think it's just because of that, but really it's about getting to Rocket and finding him. And I guess he's been on the run from the High Evolutionary ever since, and High Evolutionary's been looking for him this whole time. Yeah, but
I mean, he wasn't on the run. Oh yeah, he wasn't on the run. Kind of on the run. He I mean, from one of the flashbacks, it looked like he killed him. So in Rocket's head, he's probably dead.
Yeah, he thinks that he's dead.
Yeah, so he's not. He's not. I feel like he's not running.
And
really.
I'm sure the High Evolutionary didn't know that he was alive, or he probably thought like, whatever, that dude's dead.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
He just moved on.
Yeah, exactly.
So, but then when he found out that the Sovereign people knew about it, that's when he gets pissed at them, and he like almost like when he was like, cause that chick, like she's like the leader, right? The leader of the Sovereign people. Yeah. When he's like grabbing her head and like pulling her like her mouth down and to talk and stuff, like I was just like, dude, he's a psychopath.
Yeah. And then the part where, yo, this is how you know like somebody's crazy. Like this is like I was watching it and I was like, okay, this is a bad dude. But then there was a part in the movie, and it's like a little super subtle part where he's going to talk to the Sovereign lady, whatever, and one of his henchmen pulls out like I don't know what it is, like a stool, so he can be higher than her. And I'm like,
she's taller than him.
Yo, that is crazy. Like that's detailed, like to show him like
how
his mind, like
yo, he has to be powerful over all of them, like just to show like I'm still above you.
Yeah, that's crazy, dude.
Which was crazy. Yeah.
So that showed me like, oh man, okay, this guy is insane. Like something's wrong with this guy, because you. Like if let's, I mean, I'm not gonna say this in a movie, but like let's really like act out what's happening right now. Yo, when I walk into a place, if I'm talking to anybody, pull my stool up so I can pull up on them, and I'm higher than them. Like so, like what kind of messed up mind do you have? Like,
I mean, yeah.
Like imagine like
my immediate
imagine anybody like just pulling up.
Yeah, like, no, my immediate thought is if someone did that to me, I would literally put my foot behind him and push them, bro. Like trip their ass, bro. Like, yeah, what's up, bro? Trip your ass real quick, bro. Or even just push him off the stool, like fuck it, or just kick the stool off.
I mean, but he's really powerful.
Yeah. Well, so that's what I was gonna say too, is that I wanted his power. So like the one thing is like he's obviously really smart and all this crazy stuff, but you're like, why are these people afraid of him? So he. What you come to find out later is that he ended up experimenting on himself and perfecting himself even more, and gave him the ability to control gravity, which is pretty crazy. Mm-hmm. And he's able to like throw people against the wall and just manipulate people, like manipulate gravity around people and on people, right? So he can like force people to the wall and make gravity super heavy on them, so they're like breaking through the floor or like breaking through a wall, like which is he was doing to Adam Warlock in that scene, right? He threw Adam Warlock against the wall and he was like pushing him out of the like metal building.
Yeah.
Like, so that shit was crazy.
Yeah, that was
real quick before we keep talking, let's take a quick drink break because we got I'm thirsty, my mouth.
Yeah,
but so we got some little cool energy drinks. So Avery got the positive energy. Show people
the Bob Ross.
Got the Bob Ross positive energy, and I got the Toxic Rick toxic energy drink. Hopefully these are good. Shout out to my Noe, my aunt Melissa. Thank you for getting these for my birthday.
The first taste is on fire.
Yeah, let's see if they're good.
Oh,
Rick and Morty.
All right, so we got that.
Oh, mine's blue.
Yeah, this is it's like blue greenish.
Oh, mine's like blue.
Blue greenish. All right, man. So we about to get the first taste of something fire with this Bob Ross joint.
Bro.
What you got?
I got the Toxic Rick.
All right, let's see what's popping. Right. Here we go.
Not bad. Mine's like almost like a blueberry.
Tastes like bubble gum.
It tastes like bubble gum?
Yeah, like blueberry bubble gum.
Is yours like the same color?
I think it's the same thing, bro.
It is the same.
I think it's the same. Why does it say Toxic Rick or positive? Like it's the same
drink.
Same drink. Yeah. It's good though.
Anyways, I needed that. So yeah, back to the what we were talking about.
That's good though. It's good though. It's good.
So
shout out to his Noe.
Yeah, shout out to my Noe. Thank you. I appreciate that. We needed this.
I needed that. We're talking too much.
So the High Evolutionary, I mean, he's pretty crazy. So to get back to what I was saying is, what was really cool that, and it's kind of hard because like as the story progresses, like there's also another story progressing as like Rocket's backstory, right? Which I really liked how they did that. The cool thing is kind of like showing you why Rocket is special, right? Why is he like this thing that, you know, the High Evolutionary is looking for, and kind of like why is Rocket this guy? Like, because we've always seen him like he's so creative, he's smart, he's like a genius, right? He can build anything, do all this stuff. So you end up seeing that the High Evolutionary had been experimenting on different things, and I guess this was like he was like batch 198 or something like that.
89
or something.
Yeah, 89, and he's P13.
Yeah,
P193 or something like that. I don't know, but he's definitely batch 89 though.
Yeah, so he's like batch 89. So like he's like the 89th level of experiments that he's done, right? And it seems like he. What I put together, it seemed like, so he was experimenting on animals and trying to build them better, doing different things, and the way that like he experimented on Rocket. and his little friends that he has. So he has a walrus friend, Teefs, and Lila the otter, who had which the walrus had like wheels, like so he can roll around to get around better. So it seems like they're almost kind of like basic little things that he's trying to experiment on, like to make people like to do things. Like maybe he just keeps experimenting on these ones and like going back to other batches and stuff. But and then he had the rabbit, that rabbit was creepy with like the little thing on his face, and it had like spider legs, Floor, and her name was Floor, but
Floor was wild.
She was kind of scary.
Yeah, that was a wild.
And then Lila, like how she's just like an otter but with like longer arms.
Yeah,
like it's weird. Like I don't know, but excuse me. Essentially, like they had been experimenting on them, and they all live in 2 cages right next to each other. Rocket and Floor, and then Teef and Lila, they're in like the next cage over, so they end up becoming friends. And one of the saddest scenes, one of the scenes that almost made me cry the hardest is like after Rocket first got experimented on and became like conscious of like his like not conscious, I would say like more human, like I would, as far as like maybe like a consciousness level of a human, and he gets thrown into the cage, and when he's like, his first word is like hurts.
Oh yeah.
And I was just like, oh my god, that hurt me, bro. That tore me apart, bro.
That was a deep
like,
one.
Fuck, man. Like
that's crazy.
It just made me think of all the animal, like, cause I've worked with animals my whole life, bro. Like my whole life, I worked at Petco, I worked at animal hospital, I was a dog trainer. I've just seen animals like go through so much, and I love animals so much. Even like Tofu's right here, chilling right here, and I just like think to like hurt an animal like that, and then like their only word that they could say is like hurts. Like it just like broke my fucking heart, bro.
I mean, shout out to James Gunn and whoever, everybody else involved in this movie, man. I think you really like you got us with that, because like I mean. Yeah. Hurting people like that's movies. We know that that's movies. Like somebody get punched or somebody get killed. Like we know that's a movie. Like we don't really usually see animals getting hurt in movies. Like you know what I mean. And when it
like experimented on it, like all this stuff,
it's like ooh, like it's a string that we don't usually get strung. Yeah. And like it was strung this one, and it was like it really
hurt.
Cool, like
bro.
Like I'm telling you, like
and Rocket's like Baby Rocket's so cute. It's
and like, I feel like we've become numb to like things in movies now. Like I see Walking Dead, I see somebody get their head chopped off, whatever, and excuse me, I know it's a movie, and I'll be like, whatever, like you know what I mean. Like I'm not even thinking about it. Like I'm not even thinking 2 seconds about it, because it's a movie and it's acting. But then when it's an animal, it's like it's different, because they're not actors. They're like, obviously this is CGI, but it's like they make it look so real. You're like, an animal can't act, bro. Like you know what I mean? Like so my mind, I think me personally, I feel like our minds aren't wired to see that like normally.
It's like that personification into an animal, where you're like putting human emotions and stuff into an animal, and it's like it really hurts, like because it's like we view animals as so innocent and like as these like things that can't defend themselves and stuff, and we're just like, damn, like to give it that emotion, like have it talk, and just like, oh, bro, it hurt.
And then Lila was like, it's okay, and then she's like wiping his head.
Like wiping it, and he's so cute. Like Baby Rocket's so cute.
That
bro.
hit right there. She like licked the cloth and like
got his
keep
blood,
the blood.
keep the blood off.
Man,
and
that
was
it. That was it. I was like, yo,
like the whole movie. Like there's moments like that where it's just like pulling on your heartstrings. You're just like, damn, bro. Like I'm literally like half the movie, I was like this, because there was a couple right next to me, and I didn't want the guy to look at me, because I was crying for most of the movie. Like I literally had like my eyes were watery. Like most of the movie, my eyes were like puffed up, and like I was like crying. Like the tears never like really came like past here, but I was like.
Hey man, it's hard to cry.
At one point I was like, I put my head up because I was like, I don't want Avery to see. I don't want this guy to see. I was in here like this.
Not the whole movie, but I teared up a couple of joints. A couple of those joints I teared up. Man. So I think the part where I teared up. And we already said spoilers. I'm gonna just say it again, just so everybody know.
I mean, at this point, if you're really
I know. Yeah. The part that I teared up, like I was like, "Ooh!" is when Rocket finally escaped in his flashback, and he escaped and tried to take his friend, and the High Evolutionary shot his friend, and he was like crying, like like that joint.
That hurt, dude.
Boom! I was like, all right. It was in my tear ducts. I was like, yo, I was like, yo, let me chill, bro. What's up, nigga? I'm a nigga in this bitch, nigga, gangster, nigga, club, nigga, thug, nigga.
What if you did that in the movie as you like stood like, hey, fuck you with me? Like, goddamn.
Yeah, man. I was like, hey, hold up, man. Hold up, man.
Hey,
I was like, hey, nigga, I'm
Hey,
done.
James Gunn. Hey,
Yeah,
James Gunn.
chill out.
How you gonna make me cry?
Yeah.
You gonna make me cry?
Yeah, chill out, bro. Chill out.
I mean, the first thing I said as soon as the movie ended, like I was like, bro, I'm not crying. You're crying, bro. Like I don't know what you're talking about. Like, what? That's you.
Yeah. So that was a beautiful thing. I think that was a beautiful thing. But I think also because we are
Connected to Rocket.
connected to these, it's connected to the Guardians, connected to Rocket. It hits a little different. So I won't speak for everybody, because if you go to this movie and you just sit there and watch it and like never seen the Guardians, like I feel like you won't.
Yeah,
you won't feel the same way as we do.
Real quick, it just to go back to the beginning. Another part that I thought was really cool, that like because we'll get to because we've kind of talked about all the Guardians and different ones. Groot's evolution, because like I feel like most movies have been more focused on Groot, but this one wasn't really about Groot. But Groot was really cool, just everything that's happened with him. And I'll like save the best part about Groot till the very end. But in the beginning, when Adam Warlock beat the fuck out of Groot, and all that was left was his head.
Oh,
and
yeah,
he was
he
like
was
crawling
growing-
like as
and
like
he was growing
He
back.
was like growing back.
Yeah, that
and
was
like that was
dope.
cool. Like
That was really dope.
every scene you kind of saw him a little more grown back, right? Like there was one part where he's like sitting down, but it's just like an outline of his like body, but like, and it's like all twigs and skinny stuff. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah,
like I
that
was
was
like, damn,
dope.
that was sick how they did that.
That was really dope. That was really dope.
but anyways,
And F Vin Diesel, because
this
is my first time ever in the whole Guardians where I heard him and I was so pissed.
Yeah, I heard his like when he spoke, it was like, oh, that's Vin Diesel.
Yeah, it was
saying I am
towards
Groot.
towards the end where he said I am Groot, and then also when he said I love you guys. I hated it.
Yeah.
I hated it. I love Groot. I love Groot. I love Vin Diesel playing Groot, but I hated that I saw him doing it, and I'm like,
damn, man.
shout out Vin Diesel, man. There's no hate. There's no hate, but it's just like I didn't want to.
Hey, make that money, Vin.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Do your thing, bro.
And I'm not gonna lie, bro. I am Groot.
Yeah.
I am Groot.
You know that he said that he gets he gets a script when like his script is different than everyone else's script, because where it says I am Groot, it actually says what he's actually trying to say. What he's actually saying, it says it for him.
Oh, that's
but
dope.
when he's like reading his lines, he knows what he's trying to say. But
he said
I
that
can
I
only
am
say I'm
Groot.
Groot. Yeah. So he's
So
like,
it's
I am
like,
Groot.
it's like, can I pick that up? I am Groot.
Yeah, and it's like, oh fuck you, I'm not letting you. There was one part where he said like I am Groot, and she was like, he said the fluctuator of the thing is like a long ass sentence. And I was like, okay, that was a good one. But yeah, so that was cool. So essentially, you start learning. I thought it was really cool how they set it up, right? So to get back to Rocket's story, Rocket, you find out that he had been experimented on, and he's like super fucking smart, and the High Evolutionary was kind of working with him to see his smarts and his intelligence. He's having him solve this crazy ass equation, and he solves it like right away, and then he takes them to show him like the next evolution, like the next batch of like a batch 90 or whatever, right? Like the batch that he's working on next, where he's able to. I feel like that was like almost like the step, or at least what I put together. Maybe you tell me what you think, but like that batch 89, which what Rocket was a part of, he was taking animals and like doing the experiments himself, and then he developed a way to just put an animal into that pod, and then they just kind of evolved by themselves, right? So like he didn't have to do those. So Rocket was the last of like that, like almost like hands-on experimenting, where he was like trying this with, as opposed to this, he like built a pod where he's like, okay, I can just put the animal in there and it just evolves by itself. Yeah. So he doesn't have to like force the evolution; it just does it. So I think that's where Rocket was the last one of that batch 89, where it went from him having that hands-on thing to him moving a different way and going towards like more technology to grow them and stuff, right?
Yeah.
Or like figure it out. So I was thinking maybe that's that point, right? So he's experimenting all this stuff kind of by hand, doing things, blah, blah. He gets to this very point, which is Rocket, and then he thinks that it's like almost a failure. So he pivots and starts going to a different way of doing things, which is more technological, where he's just like throwing things in the thing in a pod, and it just does all the work for him. And I think that's where that's where Rocket is at peak, right? Like a perfection for him, where he like worked up to here and then shifted because he didn't think Rocket was that one. But then as he is working with him and he's showing Rocket like, this is the next evolution of what I'm doing, he shows Rocket that like, okay, when I put these animals in here, the only problem is that they're violent and they're like, and Rocket's kind of figuring that out. And then he tells them like, oh, well, the reason they're violent is because this machine has this blah, blah, blah right here. And if you fix that, then they'll be non-violent.
Yeah, and it's so funny because he, at the time when he said that, he was like, almost
like played it off and didn't take him serious. But then you see that little moment right there is the moment, and Rocket's so innocent. He's just like being like, "Oh, it's because of this." Like, and I love how they make his like baby voice. He's like, "Oh, it's because of this."
Because even in that because he was the high evolutionary was annoyed because remember he was like can't and can't.
Yeah, and he was like correcting him and stuff.
And then he said something, and he was like. He said, I forget what he said, but he mispronounced something or not mispronounced something, said something weird, and that's why he was annoyed because he said a word like differently than how he like would, you know what I mean?
Because he's trying to perfect everything. Like he wants perfection.
And even in his misperfection or
mispronunciation or like mispronunciation,
whatever it is, he still got that little machine thing right, and he was like, the high revolutionary was all mad,
and that's what it comes down to, and that's what you find out is that the reason High Evolutionary is mad because his creation figured out something that he couldn't figure out.
Yeah, he was like,
right.
He pulled up on him.
That's the first part. That's the first part that's the first time that he realizes that my creations are like the thing that I created is actually outsmarting me, right? And everything before that and everything after that has been this like he's above them and he controls them, he has power over them, but he sees this one moment of like peak where Rocket is actually smarter than him, and you're like, oh shit, and that's where he's like, okay, I need his brain, because something happened in his brain, something I did experimented on him, like something I did when I was experimenting on him turned him into this like ultimate genius, and I need that so that I can perfect my stuff later, because if I have that, I can make better stuff or better versions of whatever he's creating.
Also, I like to say, I mean, I don't know if you caught this or not, but like in the experience or in the experiments or whatever they were like working on Rocket, every time he left, he took something, and then at the end when he that was cool,
sick. Yeah,
because it was like it was super subtle in the beginning, and I was like. He took it, and then nothing happened, and then at the end, like he started taking stuff out.
Yeah, you would see that he would like take something, a little screw or a little piece, and put it onto his like body, like
and it's like,
magnets
bro,
or something.
Like that was sick. I love James Gunn or whoever was like,
super creative.
Yeah, that was sick. And then
and he ends up building like so you see all this stuff, and eventually like you see that Rocket. Rock is very innocent, so he's believing everything the high evolutionary is telling him, and kind of like being like very gullible to whatever he tells him. So when he finds out that like he's like pissed off about how he fixed it, because what happens, right? He brings Rocket in to show that what he did actually worked. Yeah. Like the fix that Rocket suggested worked to solve the problem for those animals, in his next evolution. And he gets pissed off because he's like, how did you do that? And essentially he just figures out like, okay, you know what, like he shows him like he got like pissed off at him, and then he was like, I'm gonna now I built my perfect people to
and we're gonna go to the counter Earth, and then Rocket was like, oh yeah, so we're gonna go
and
he was like
he's all my new creations that you helped me create where they're going, but you're imperfect, you're like you're not anything.
He was like actually I need your brain, but everybody else 89 and we're gonna incinerate them.
So he just like he's like incinerate
and then that's where Rocket was like, nigga, psych.
And that's where Rocket like figures out, so they throw Rocket back in the cage, and he figures out like, fuck, we're not going to this new planet, everything that we've been waiting for is a lie. And then boom, all those pieces that he takes off, boom, builds like a little key card and opens up his cage, gets out, gets Lila, opens up her cage, gets out, they have that little hug, and then right there,
that was it.
Boom, that's the moment that Avery was talking about where Lila gets shot by the Evolutionary, and it's just like, dude, Rocket's like crying.
It's crazy too because the whole movie, like the whole like what do you call it, the flashbacks, like you're watching this and you're like, oh shoot, like Rocket about to get back to his girl. That's what I'm thinking. Rocket about to get back to his girl, and then
for them to do that, like that's the twist is like that she died, bro. Like I was like, oh no, because my whole thing too was thinking like, oh, he's gonna get back to her, he's gonna find her, he's gonna go like when he goes back to the High Evolutionary, he's gonna find her, she's still there.
That's what I'm thinking, bro.
So when she gets shot, and he's just like, fuck, and then he grabs like he ends up like getting a gun what? How did he get a gun? Like, was it from High
It just dropped. Yeah, High Evolutionary had it because he shot the
and he,
thing,
like, threw it down.
and it was on the ground. So like when he tore his face up.
Oh yeah, so after he shoots a girl, then Rocket jumps on High Evolutionary, rips his fucking face up, which you end up finding out that's why his face is like stretched back, right? So he rips his fucking face up. They don't show the High Evolutionary, like they just show like him from a distance, and then some people come in, some like backups, they come start shooting Rocket. They miss Rocket, and he kills like all three of them. But when he looks back to see his friends, they also killed Teef, and they also killed
so all his homies.
So all of his friends are dead, and it's just like, damn, bro, that was like, bro, like that. I was like crying, bro. I was like, fuck, bro, this is so sad, bro.
That was it, man. That was it. So yeah, so after.
And they always said that Rocket's like story is so tragic and stuff, and I just didn't know what it was. You know, like they did a great job of kind of just like always leading us on.
I'm surprised you didn't know from the comics.
I mean, I've never like read the Guardians comics or anything, so I'm not really sure like how that goes. If they even explained it in there, or if it's different, or if it's the same, or But yeah, man, that shit was wild. So
it's crazy too, because not the comics, but in just Guardians, like nobody knew. Like Rocket never talked about it, and he was just like super duper off of it.
Yeah.
Like, no, I don't want to talk about it. So like, it's like, it was a perfect like, okay, we get it. We get why you didn't want to talk about it. So.
Oh man, but so super heavy, and Rocket ends up escaping, and then boom, Rocket leaves the life that we know. Another cool thing that was cool was like the whole how they got their names, which was really cool. I liked how they did that, where like, oh, like my name's like, I think we should have names. Like, she's like, my name's Lila, and Teef is the first one that says it. Like Teef is like, oh, I have teeth, so I think I should be Teef. And then Floor is like, I'm laying on the floor, so I should be Floor. And Rocket, he had seen a Rocket earlier, another thing when he was like baby and like barely learning words, and he's like Rocket, and anyways he becomes Rocket. So getting into that, blah blah. Back to the real story. Counter Earth. They're on Counter Earth. Counter Earth was really fucking funny and really just that was a whole experiment and weird ass shit. It kind of gave me once again like the heebie-jeebies, like almost like it was kind of weird.
It was weird. It was like a
like the animal things were just like a little like too realistic, and like and they're like in the 70s, and it's just like. Dude, and then even like when they walk through her house, like so they end up getting there, they land. Peter's like trying to communicate with them, and he ends up like getting like going in. You've seen most of it in the trailer, and obviously you've seen the movie because you're this far, you're watching this with us, right? But when they go into the house with them, and you see all the pictures on the walls and stuff, like that shit was really weird. Like, dude, it was really creeping me out.
I thought it was funny, man.
It was funny, but it just really was like, oh my god.
I thought it was perfect, like 70s. Like you seen the dad. I don't know if you've seen the kids, and then the dad was up like this. Like it's just like super duper 70s.
It was really funny,
which is really dope. I enjoyed that part.
I just hated the bat people.
It was also crazy seeing the High Evolutionary with a monkey at the statue.
Like the Statue of Liberty. Like you land at the Statue of Liberty, and it's like the High Evolutionary with the fucking monkey on it. Like that shit was.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, that shit was wild.
Yeah.
But yeah, they end up finding out that like the High Evolutionary's on Counter Earth, and they go to his ship and stuff and build this whole plan. Meanwhile, Rocket's still like dying and shit. Then what happens? Adam Warlock. How did he get that little animal thing? I forgot. Like, well, how did he get that little like brown creature thing that he was with? Because that was a whole funny little subplot that I really liked. That was funny. It's like even though Adam Warlock is like this new kid, and he like
wait, what was it? Was it?
It was with okay.
Was it the pig?
When they go break into the prison, like the technology place, they end up they end up going in there, and Gamora calls the Ravengers to come save her, and then so. The sovereign chick and the sovereign chick and Adam Warlock, like his mom, whatever, they end up capturing one of the Ravengers, the Ravengers, and he has that as a pet. And then and I love that part too, where she's like, "Show me mean business," and Adam Warlock just fucking incinerates the dude, which is crazy, dude. Like that shows how much power he has. Like he just literally burnt the guy to a fucking skeleton.
And it also shows how like baby he is
because he doesn't understand. Like, but even before that, like it's subtle things like that they do in the movie, where when like they're all talking, Adam Warlock's kind of just like filling the material on the walls and stuff, and they're like, "Show me mean business," and he's like, "Huh? Yeah. What? Okay." Like he has no idea what's going on, which I thought was really funny. Will Poulter, that's his name. Will Poulter. Shout out Will Poulter because he killed that shit.
He killed it for real.
Yeah, Adam Warlock was really dope.
He come a long way from where the Millers.
We are the Millers.
Yeah, for sure.
where he get his like dick stung or something by like or bit by like a snake or something.
It's a spider.
Spider gets bit by a spider.
He's his balls.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, also in that one part too, which I thought was really cool, is like they showed how ruthless Adam could be, but then it shows how like innocent because of the pet.
Pup, yeah, he wanted
like,
the pet.
Well, no, I'm not gonna hurt her because it's like it's scared.
Yeah,
it's like that showed like, oh shoot, like to me it showed like, oh, he's about to be a good guy. Like,
that was the turning moment right there, where like as soon as he saw that little animal and he's like he felt sympathy for it. You're like, oh, okay, he does have a good heart.
Yeah, he's not like a crazy.
Because his mom was like, kill that thing. You know? And she planned on like she kept like the whole like every time they showed them together, like she was like, let's kill this thing basically.
Yeah.
But yeah, so they end up like on Counter Earth. Peter and Groot go to High Evolutionary. Nebula ends up. She ends up going to following them. All three of them go.
Yeah, Groot,
Nebula, and Peter.
Yeah, they go in the car.
Mantis and Drax stay at the ship to protect Rocket.
Yeah, and
with
then
Gamora.
Gamora's in the ship as well.
Yeah, and then so like whatever. So basically, Drax and Mantis end up deciding to leave and go follow them, which was really fun. A stupid part, but really funny.
Yeah.
And like the part where like they like where Nebula's like, "Where are you guys at?" Like he's like, "Bring the ship over here," and he's like, "I can't bring the ship. I'm not at the ship." And she's like, "Where are you?" And then he turns around, she's like right there.
Yeah. That's wild. That's a wild part.
That was a good part. And then out of nowhere, Adam Warlock shows up. He like starts trying to fight Gamora. Well, you know the High Evolutionary's animals, like those two animal like people that he had with them, the pig and like the turtle thing.
Oh yeah.
The like half robot turtle and half robot pig, War Pig or whatever. That shit was crazy. I think War Pig is from the comics.
Oh, word?
Because I've seen that character before.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure those are two.
I thought that was super dope when Adam Warlock just.
Oh, like broke his like.
Yeah, he just like. And then he held on to the head. Yeah, that joke was crazy. I was like, yo.
Yeah,
that
was
like,
wild.
You know what's crazy? Like I just say it like that, but like. There's good animals and then there's bad animals. Like you don't feel sorry for the bad animals. Like,
that's true.
You know what I mean? Like that War Pig and that turtle thing is like they were like really bad and like they were trying to hurt. So like when they died, it was like
it was over for them.
It was like
but yeah, so they end up doing that, and then essentially, you know, they try to get Rocket, but they don't get Rocket, and then they think they got Rocket, but they don't have Rocket, and the High Evolutionary decides to blow up the whole planet and just like kill everybody.
he has new perfect beings. Like he, because there was a girl. You remember the girl on the treadmill? He's like, this person's been running for like 2-3 hours
for 2 hours,
and haven't like had a sweat or something like that, haven't broken a sweat,
and she's having fun, and she's like, and they can build something under 2 minutes.
And he says something like she only ate 80 calories or something like that. And
they only need like 30 calories to survive or something like that.
Like
that was
crazy.
Yeah, so
it's like another being he's trying to make perfection.
Yeah,
which is crazy.
I guess that's what all those kids were, right?
That's actually crazy. Like, where did they come from?
I guess he created them or he made them, right?
I don't know.
So that's another thing.
That's something I didn't tell.
Yeah, that's another thing. Hopefully, you're gonna knock over this light. Anyways, whatever. Can you fix it?
Yeah.
He didn't even move. But yeah, like that was crazy how like so essentially, so kind of to skip forward a little bit, I guess, is like when they're on the counter, they're on the High Evolutionary ship, trying to rescue. So Drax, Nebula, and Mantis try to get on the ship to rescue Peter and Groot, but Groot and Peter end up jumping out of the ship, which was funny, and which was cool too when Groot got wings.
Yeah,
like,
that was crazy.
Dope, bro. Like he just grew wings. And the way he killed that guy
evolution of Groot is crazy.
Yeah,
crazy.
Yeah, dude, it's been wild.
What he was doing was crazy.
Yeah.
Like that was one of the. So it was multiple dope fight scenes, but that one was crazy when Peter and Groot were fighting.
He pulled all the guns out of his arms,
when Groot pulled all those guns out and like Peter's like shooting between Groot's legs, like I was like, yeah.
And then like there was a part where like Peter was like shooting and then he was getting shot at and like Groot covered him with like his branches and stuff. Like that was sick. Like
that was sick.
It's just, bro. Groot is like so OP, bro. He's so dope.
Yeah, Groot has jumped the power rankings in this movie for sure.
And I want to say, but I'm gonna save it till the end. We're gonna talk about the post credit scenes, but we're gonna say that till a little bit later. It's but Groot's evolution, just max peak. But so they end up what happened? So they end up going on the ship. I really like the part where like when Peter did jump out of this when he pushed the guy out of the out of the ship and they start falling, and then Groot comes down and saves them. Like right before Groot, Peter is talking to the guy in midair, and he's like, "We're both gonna die," and he's like, "Not me," or whatever. And he like turns him, and like uses him as like a shield.
Yeah,
to, like,
that's just crazy.
And Groot like grabs him, and like the way he killed him, because I thought like, oh, you know, they're both gonna land and he's gonna question him or something, but like, he murdered this fool like by rubbing him on the ground.
But you know, it's crazy because the dude that he just said that murdered everybody knows this guy. This dude who is like helping the High Evolutionary with the experiments. You're like, dude, this dude needs to die. Like, because you see him and he's like, damn, he's a dick. Like, he's helping. Like, he's hitting the cages for the animals. It's like, this dude needs to die. So the way he died is very satisfying. Yeah, satisfying.
Sure. Super satisfying.
Hell yeah.
It was like a really great death. The way they killed him. I was like, oh shit. Like Giraffe like pushed his head into the ground where his head was like all fucked up and shit. I was like, oh wow, that was really. Which we'll say for a Disney Marvel movie, there was a lot of crazy deaths in this movie. Like I feel like there were some crazy deaths in this movie.
It was really graphic actually.
Yeah, it was pretty graphic.
Yeah, it was graphic.
Like, because like even just like when they showed when Adam Warlock like burning that dude alive, I was like, oh shit, that was really intense.
Adam Warlock taking the pig's head off.
And then the other guy getting killed like that.
And then even the High Evolutionary taking the mask off.
Yeah, so we'll get to that.
That was crazy.
So we'll get to that. We'll get to that.
Bro.
So yeah, so whatever, blah blah. They're in the ship. What happens? Then I don't know. What else? I'm just trying to walk. The reason I'm walking through it is because I want to be able to walk through it because it's fun for us to relive it, and then you guys can kind of relive it too and see like what, and then we can kind of pick parts that we're like forget.
You were on. They jumped off. Peter and.
So he gets the like part of the thing, and then Counter Earth starts exploding, right? And like it's like blowing up. So as like they jump down onto Earth, which is like exploding, Nebula and Mantis and stuff, they're about to like die from the pressure of going into space, and then they go in. They end up finding like a bunch of kids in like cages, which is like some Trump shit, because like he keeps kids in cages by the border.
I think so. And then they found the kids. And it was. The kids look just like the kid that we were talking about.
That was running in the circle.
Was running in a circle.
Yeah, so I guess that's like his next evolution of kids that he made, or like people that he made.
That's what we're like stuck on, which I'm pretty sure New Rockstars.
So that's what I'm saying. Like
New Rockstars will help us out.
Yeah. So, but that's what's crazy about like the whole thing is like it's like okay, like are you like we're gonna give you something to cry about? Like if we're going to show you like how he abuses animals. Okay, if that doesn't do anything for you, he's also abusing kids. If that doesn't do anything for you, he's also like killing. Like it's like they're like all these things to like make you cry or make you emotional. Like which one is it going to be? Like you pick your choice. And if you are emotional to all of them, you get the fucking tears, all the tears.
Actually, that was pretty dark. Actually, for Marvel to put the kids.
Like, kids like kids in cages.
Like the animals was crazy, but like it's like the kids in the cages.
And if you know anything about like politics, like there literally is like kids in the border like in cages. Like that was like a whole big thing. Like back when like the election was happening, like they were like going over there and like talking about it. Now they all of a sudden don't talk about it, and it's just like, oh, I guess the kids are all good, but no, they're still in cages at the border. Like there's a lot of kids in cages in the border.
That's wild.
But yeah, so like they end up going in there, and that's where I think where you kind of see Drax's whole thing. So it's cool because like how we said, like every story arc kind of completes. This is where you kind of see Drax's thing kind of completing is when he's interacting with the kids, and then he like is able to talk to them. He knew their language the whole time, and he like is talking to them and dancing for them, and she ends up saying like, oh, you're meant to be a dad, and I thought that was really cool how it's like, oh, okay, like the whole time like Drax has like been lost, and it's like, what is Drax looking for? And it's really he lost his wife and his daughter, and you kind of forget about that, right?
You do.
Forget that
I actually just forgot to you just said
like he had lost in the first one, he lost his wife and his daughter, and that's the whole reason he was
so
even
angry.
He was even fighting them is because he was mad about his wife and his daughter. So like now it's like
because he wouldn't have found Thanos.
Exactly. So that's like now it's like that's his redemption. I totally
forgot about that, dude.
So it's like the story arc being complete. Like he like was upset about his losing his wife and daughter, and then now it's like complete where like he gets to be a dad again, and like that's his ultimate purpose was to be a dad, not to be a destroyer. Right?
Dang, that's crazy.
Which was I thought that was a really great resolution that like came together.
Yeah, that's
and then obviously, and then so they're in there. One of the cool things too is while they're in that like area, they end up getting trapped in there or something. Right, they end up getting trapped in like a pit, and then they end up like opening the pit, and those monsters from Guardians 2 start coming out and start attacking them, and they're like fighting them, and they're like scared, and it's like 3 big ass fucking those like wobbly things with like the teeth and the fucking firework breath and shit. And I thought that was really cool too because like they're about to die. You think they're about to die or they're about to get eaten. It looked bad for them. It looked really bad.
Yeah.
Even like so that's like the kind of like the peak of the movie. I would say is like that tension where everyone like everything looks bad because they're trapped in that situation where they're about to die. The High Evolutionary unleashed all his like hell spawns. Yeah. Like all his like bad creations like onto fucking nowhere, and like they're like break into nowhere, and like I'm like, oh, everyone's dead, like they're all gonna die, you know. And Kraglin is able to like do his thing. So it was cool to see Kraglin like be able to use the arrow finally, and like he was fucking everybody up. That was really cool. And even Cosmo like comes in and he ends up like killing like the big like war turtle thing.
That was crazy. That was crazy. He was like good dog. Like that was a good. That was a good like.
Yeah, that was the whole like even little thing that they had like a little subplot of like in the very beginning he called her a bad dog, and then like it just evolves all the way to like at the end where it's like, oh, you are a good dog. Which, that was like super. I knew that was coming the whole entire time.
That was
like,
cheesy, but it was cheesy, but it was that was a dope cheesy. Like that was a perfect like in between cheese. Yeah.
And the dude gets smashed like cheese in the bread.
And it was like a perfect death. Like you're like, oh, he's coming up.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Cause she is a good dog.
Cosmo was dope. And you know, I don't know if you've ever seen. You probably never seen Borat 2.
Nah, I know what it is, but I've never seen it.
There's a Borat 2, the new one that like the newest one that came out. He has a daughter. And like his daughter is in the movie with him, and like it's like Borat and his daughter the whole movie. The girl who plays his daughter is the voice of Cosmo.
Okay.
And so she did a really good job, I thought. It was kind of weird like to hear Cosmo with the voice, and like it didn't really kind of fit it, but it did. But it was.
I'm not gonna lie, it was a little weird.
Yeah, it was a little weird.
It was a little weird, but I went with it because it's space and like it's a talking dog. So it's like, you know, what am I thinking is gonna sound like a valley girl?
Yeah,
like,
but the whole thing about that dog is that she's like a Russian experiment, right? Like they were trying to. She was like when like during the space race, well, like when we're trying to get to space, like the Russians were experimenting on this dog, and they end up like giving it powers and the ability to talk and put it in a spaceship and sent it into space, and then that's where like the collector found it.
Okay.
So.
Okay. Yeah. So that's what you were on.
It starts popping off, right? Everyone starts dying. Everyone starts like fighting. Like Earth's blowing up. And then what they end up? They end up like calling for Nowhere to come in. Gamora ends up getting to Drax or to Peter and Groot. They get on the ship. They end up going to the High Evolutionary ship. They get onto the ship and they're all now on the ship. And then
that fighting scene is sick. That fighting scene is sick too.
So when they all get on the ship and they're like, that the hallway scene, like that hallway scene where they're about to like they're like, oh, we should leave, like we're all finally together. That's what I was gonna say is those things, those like those things. How Nebula was able to like, they eat batteries, they don't want to eat us, they're only
Mantis.
Mantis. Like she's like, they eat batteries, they don't want to eat us. Like the only reason they're attacking us because they're scared of what we might do. So she goes up and like touches it, and then she ends up becoming friends with those things, right, and bonds with them. So that was really cool too to see. Like I like that kind of stuff when it's like. Because for me, like I know, like Kat is always like scared of like dogs or animals and stuff, and I'm like, don't be scared. Like it's only scared because it's scared of you. You know what I mean? Like you have to kind of show it that you're not gonna hurt it, and then so I feel like that's how I am with animals. So seeing that was like really like touching for me, I guess, in a way. But yeah, so they end up being able to break out, and then they all get together, right? Then it's like all the Guardians are all matched up together. They're all back together. Yeah. And
everybody kind of wants, not everybody, but Gamora is like, yo, we should just leave.
Yeah, so they're about to leave, but then everyone was about to leave except for Rocket. When Rocket was like, I'm done running away. Just cocked his gun, and then like everyone starts following him, and the music started playing, and it was like, okay, this is about to get going. They open up the corridor, boom, and fucking next thing you know, it's like a bunch of bad guys and the Guardians, and it's just on, bro. And that battle was sick. That fight was sick. Like, dude,
it was really
everyone
dope.
was like maxed out their powers.
I really
like
how they did it, man. Like when Groot was like extending and Rocket was hopping on
his arm,
the branches, and then even Gamora was killing niggas. Like
Mantis was using her sword like to fuck people up, and then like Mantis was like jumping on people and like telling them like, oh, that part was cool. That was earlier, but remember when they were in the technology place and she was like, her and Drax were fighting, and she was like jumping on people. She's like, "You're gonna, you love to dance right now." That part was cool.
And then that one dude, that dude deserves.
Shout out to him.
That black dude, he was like, that joke was funny, bro. I pray that I can see that again, because that part was like really. I mean, it was in the moment, but like that was really good. Like he was just like. Like whoever got that part, like, dude,
We gotta look up him in the credits. We gotta follow him on Instagram and be
bro,
like, "Hey,
you
bro,
lit, bro."
shout out to you," because that's the one thing I bet like everyone's gonna be hyped on this movie, and for him, like, think about it. Like me and you, if you were in this movie, like, and we would be like, no, only our friends and people that know us are gonna know, like, oh, look for Avery, you know, because he's in this part.
Yeah.
So his friends and everyone, like, they see him in that part, and they're probably like, oh, that's dope. But like, no random people are gonna remember, like, oh, remember the guy who danced? Like, we should find that guy.
Yeah,
and we get him on the
honestly,
podcast.
bro, like he had a really like it was a really like memorable like thing. So like it wasn't like because I can see like Mantis like doing like she said like, oh, you kill him or whatever.
Yeah.
Which is like, you love to dance like that was so memorable. He was like, I don't know what he was doing, but he was like, hey, and like he wasn't like doing like no
anything
like turn
like,
up dances, but it was just like a weird like thing.
Yeah,
I was like, yo, that's
funny.
funny.
It was a good. It was a
But
good
yeah,
dance.
that was dope. That was dope.
But yeah, so then in that big ass fight where everyone's fighting in the hallway, everyone's doing something. Everyone's like just killing it, bro. Even like Peter, like he's like sticking people with the electric things as he's like going through and like
he like stick on a nigga butt. Like,
exactly. Like, everyone's just killing it, bro. And then they end up obviously killing everybody. They finally have High Evolutionary, and what happens after that?
They're done, and they gotta go and like link the ships.
Oh yeah, so then they end up like linking the ships,
and then getting everybody out, getting all the kids out.
Yeah, so then they start getting all the kids out, all higher life form, right? They all start like getting all the kids out, start trying to get everybody out, and Rocket like ends up like going back. I think that's the part. I don't know if I maybe skipped some stuff, but you see that Rocket, he goes into the ship and he's like trying to find, while they're all looking for like humans or like higher life forms, like the kids and stuff, right? Rocket goes and he finds the room that he was kept in with all the animals, and bro, that part got to me bad too. When he goes and he looks and he sees all the babies,
raccoons.
Yeah, and that's like one of the biggest thing, right? It's like, because we all know him as Rocket Raccoon. All these movies, it's like, I'm not a raccoon, right? It's like he opens the cage and he sees all the baby raccoons and he's like looking at them and they all come up to him, and dude, it's so cute. I was just like, oh my god, like I feel so bad for these little babies, and they're just like, they finally have like their dad right there, like whatever, like to them, you know, someone that's gonna protect them.
The part where he goes up to the cage though, and then he sees the thing where it's like the origin of it.
Yeah, so he opens it up,
and then he says, and then it says like, it zooms in, it zooms in on raccoon, and then you're like, okay, he's an actual raccoon.
He realizes like, oh, okay, I am a raccoon, like, and he almost like embraces it, right?
It's which also, cool. Side note, is I really want to see Rocket with Thor now, because Thor always calls him Rat.
Yeah.
So I want to see like
he's like, I'm a raccoon.
Yeah, I'm a raccoon. Like, you know, because Thor is always like, yeah, you rat. Like, you know, like the rat. Like he always saw the rat. So like, I'm like, oh shoot. Like I want to see. I don't just say Thor, but like all the Avengers, because all the Avengers like didn't put no respect on his name. Like they always like, oh, the rat.
Trash Panda, all these different things.
So like,
right?
I want to see like, you know, I don't know if he'll come back, because at the end of the movie they said.
Yeah, well, I think that. So we'll get to that part, but so then one of the coolest parts, right? So then he's like about to save all the little babies, and then as he's about to save them, the fucking High Evolutionary comes and they start fighting. He starts fucking up Rocket, but they set something up in the very beginning of the movie where he was, at the very beginning of the movie, he was testing out his gravity boots. Yeah, and then it's like, because he knew it's like the details, bro. Right? So it's like he's getting fucked up by High Evolutionary because he's using his gravity power, blah blah blah, and then out of nowhere, like you see him kind of reaching for something, and he like activates his gravity boots, and he I forgot what he says.
I think he said gravity boots, or something like that. I don't think he said MF.
Which, by the way, they did say the first fuck in Marvel, and it was just when Peter was like, open the fucking door.
I think he said gravity boost jerk or dickhead or something like that. And then, I think it was something like that.
Yeah, and so then, boom, he turns on his gravity
asshole.
boost.
I think he said asshole.
And just drops down, pulls out his gun, and then like,
and then he shoots him, and then man, it was the most satisfying because bro, bro. when you watch it, like you see this dude's like really powerful. So when Rocket shoots him, everybody comes out the woodwork on this nigga, bro. Everybody,
from
like,
every corner, every door open.
I don't know who hit him next, but then whoever hit him after Rocket, Drax came and said, "Boom!"
Slams him, and then like someone else like throws him, and then like punches him, and then someone else like slams him.
Then Gamora stabs him at the end.
Stabs him, and she sees that.
Nebula does the
So from him getting beat up, like you see that his face is a little kind of like open
falling
right here,
off.
like falling off, and she's like, oh, like you see his face, whatever, and I think does he say Rocket say before he's like that's not his face, that's a mask or something.
Yeah.
And so then she peels it off his face and like drops him, and his face is just like bloody, fucking just deformed, teeth missing.
He looked like what's you call it from Captain America.
Oh, like Red Skull, a little like Red Skull, like. But that's also we're saying that like that part was super graphic, where it was like, damn, bro. Like,
and he was talking for a minute.
Yeah, and
like, he had kind of like a dialogue.
On his face. And but it's crazy to think like that's what Rocket did to him before he left, right? He had to build that little mask to cover up what Rocket did to him.
And I
which
think
is pretty crazy.
I think from that part for me, I was like, oh shoot, like this nigga, he Rocket beat him, and like he's want revenge from Rocket ever since. Like, he didn't forget Rocket for sure. Like he's been at him.
So then Rocket was gonna shoot him, and they're like, kill him, and Rocket decides not to kill him, and he's like why? Because he's like, because I'm a guardian of the galaxy, right?
And I was
but what did they do with them? Did they show him? They just left him there?
Actually, yeah, they just left him there.
So I guess he just exploded in the ship.
Yeah, probably exploded in the ship, or he might come back. But I mean, I don't think they messed him up too bad. Like
they fucked him up.
If he come back, like it's not like if it was Thanos, it's different. Like it's like like you know what I mean.
So then basically that's now it's escape time, and Cosmo, which is really cool. Like they use like Kraglin and Nebula is like guiding the ship for the High Evolutionary, and Kraglin is guiding the ship of Nowhere, which is like I didn't even realize that the head of Nowhere was actually a ship on its own, like they could control, right?
Yeah,
which is cool.
Yeah,
so they link it up so it's like this like airtight thing, so that way they can connect and get all the kids onto Nowhere. And it's cool how they use Cosmo, and Cosmo's like mind abilities, like telekinesis, whatever, to like bring it in, and she's like holding it together with like as a dog. And I like how like as the dog's like straining, like she's like growling, and she's like like trying to get it. And even when she's like it's too much, like Mantis comes and she like touches her, and she's like, "You're a big strong dog, you can do it." And then she gets more powerful. So that was cool. So they start saving all the things, and then it turns out that I think they had already saved all the animals, and they're like, "Where are they? Saved all the people already?" And then they're like, "Where's Rocket?" And then that's when they go back and they fight at High Evolutionary, and then they're like, let's get out of here. And Rocket's like, "No, we gotta save all the animals, like everybody, all the animals and stuff." So then they come with all the animals, and then Mantis comes with the fucking wavy fucking monster things, and they end up getting off. Everyone's getting off. Everyone's safe. And then this is where I thought they were going to get me, bro. This is where I was like, no fucking way.
Yeah.
They go.
Same.
Everyone's gone. Peter drops his Zune, goes back to get his Zune, and jumps and fucking misses and starts floating in space. And he just fucking starts.
Looks like he's about to pop.
Literally like inflates and starts freezing. And I'm like, oh, he's dead.
It looks like he's dead.
Bro.
Like, because what got me was what is his name?
Adam Warlock?
No.
Or High Evolutionary?
No. Golly. Oh my God.
What?
For the Groot, yes.
Oh, Groot.
Golly.
Yeah.
Groot got me. Groot got me because he was extended, and he was trying to go to him, but he couldn't. He went all the way out, but like space is like
cold. It like started freezing his like limbs and like breaking
it was
off into ice.
That was the last hope. Like it looked like that was the last hope, and it was like, oh, he's not gonna make it. Like,
and mind you, we had seen Adam Warlock get his ass beat the whole entire movie, and like he was pretty much like done for. Like he was like done. So you kind of thought like, okay, the last time they showed Adam Warlock in that before they showed this part,
Groot had
seen him, and like
he had him like he had him in his arms like he was like he was
saved
done.
him, because he had like dead, like he was like pretty much dead, and like Groot took him.
And
then so then right when you think Peter's done for,
Adam Warlock's right there.
Boom.
Yeah, and he saved him, and it was. And I actually when he brought him on, I still thought his face was puffed up and everything, so I thought he was dead.
Yeah, I thought he was done for.
But yeah,
I was like, oh well, they saved his body at least.
Yeah,
like that's cool. Like they're gonna have a funeral for him. Like I legit thought he was dead.
But he survived, man. And I was like, oh shoot! So everybody Everybody survived. And my
So our
prediction
theories were wrong.
Was wrong.
Yeah, nobody
Because I
died.
thought Drax was gonna die. I thought Rocket was gonna die, but everybody lived.
Yeah, so they end up, Peter lives. They I think he's like tells like Rocket like, oh, I got my Zune. I went back to get my Zune for you, kind of thing. And then so then it kind of transfers to the next scene or whatever, right? It's just like now it's kind of like in the future, and I think Peter's like I need to talk to everybody or. Yeah, Peter.
Yeah.
And so earlier in the movie, they had set up something too, which we didn't really talk about, but because it was like a subtle thing. But when Nebula was when Gamora was on the ship by herself, when everyone left to go to Evolutionary, she was going through Peter's backpack because that was also a big plot of the movie too. Another storyline.
Gamora. You said Nebula.
Oh, Gamora. Gamora was on the ship and she was going through Peter's backpack, and that was like a big plot that our storyline they had been setting up to is how Peter had been trying to get back with her and kept trying to convince her almost like, yeah, remember like we had this thing, and she was kind of just like downplaying him and like not giving him any time. And then she sees his backpack, she goes through it, she sees the picture, and they had to set it up too where Mantis had said something about his grandpa in the beginning where she's like, you left your family, like your grandpa could still be alive, blah blah blah. And
he was like, he's old.
Yeah, he's old. He's like, he's too old. Like he probably like in his 90s or whatever. And so so then Gamora ends up finding the picture of his grandpa, his mom, and him, Peter. And at the end, she ends up giving it to him, right, and like showing it to him. And so that was like his moment of being like, okay, I think I got to go back and do this. So to get to the end, everyone's happy. This is where you see all the resolutions of their stories, right? And Peter decides, hey, like I've been with the Guardians, blah blah blah. It's been cool, but I got to go back. And I thought he was gonna be like, I'm leaving forever. But I liked how he said like, I got to go. I'll leave for a while. He didn't say like I'm leaving forever. He was like, I have to go for a while to go do something.
Mm-hmm.
So he essentially says that like he's gonna go to Earth to go see his grandpa, which is cool. And then Nebula or Mantis also decides like her whole thing was like, oh, well, I've always only ever done stuff for ego, and then now I was with the Guardians and I've only ever done everything that the Guardians wanted to do. Now it's time for me to find myself and do my own thing. And so Drax,
which is crazy to me. I think that's the only thing that I had a problem with. Mantis and Peter finally brother and sister.
Yeah, they're both like
they're both leaving each other. I was like, oh, like,
and like her whole relationship with Drax, I thought like they were gonna be together,
Yeah.
So
that's what described me.
But yeah, so like I thought they were gonna get together, but yeah, she ends up like leaving in Drax. That was a big part that got me too, because they had built this relationship between Drax and Drax and Mantis, and I was like, oh, like they're gonna get together. But then when Mantis like is leaving, she like Drax like is like, I gotta go with you. I gotta go. Like, that's like his comfort is like having Mantis with them. So like the fact that she was gonna leave and Nebula basically tells him like, no, you can't leave. You gotta stay because I need you to help with me with these kids, and because you're supposed to be a dad. And that's where you see like, so you're starting to see everyone's picture come together, right? It's like, boom, like Peter is gonna go back to Earth to finish his story, right, and complete his whole thing and see his family that he missed out on. Mantis is leaving to go do her own thing and kind of explore herself and become the woman that she's supposed to be. Then Groot or Drax ends up like finding out that, okay, he's supposed to be a dad, so he needs to be with these kids, so he's gonna stay. Nebula decides, I'm gonna lead this city and be the leader of the city and be like, hold everything together for everybody. And then all that's left is what, Rocket and Groot. And then basically Rocket's like, so wait, the Guardians are done? And they're like, well, we're still going to be the Guardians. Whenever the galaxy needs us, we're still the Guardians, which sets up them all reuniting together later, which is what I said before. And one of the podcasts, one of my predictions was that they're all going to split up.
Yeah.
And we're going to like, this is going to be our thing where it's like, oh, this is the last of them being together. And then eventually later down the line, they're all going to come back together. Yeah, it's going to be a surprise. It's going to pop it in. Oh yeah, no, for sure. It's going to be like a big cameo where everyone when we forget about the Guardians like 2-3 years later from now, when we're like deep into this saga like 6 or whatever, phase 6, that's when they're going to be like, oh yeah, the Guardians are all gone. Maybe we'll see someone pop up here, someone pop up there, blah blah. But yeah, so essentially Rocket becomes the new leader of the Guardians.
Yeah. So this is are we done? Oh,
wait. And then so Rocket becomes the new leader of the Guardians, and he And we'll get to the post credit scenes now.
Yeah.
So they like do that. And
well, I mean, the post credit scenes, Rocket leads the Guardians now.
Exactly. So now Rocket is the leader of the Guardians. This is where we get into the post credit scene, right? At the end, they all dance. They're all happy. Peter left. Mantis left.
Gamora left.
Oh yeah, and Gamora too. So Gamora, she ends up going back with the Ravengers, and that was really cool to see her go back with the Ravengers, and she finds her family. Right, that's her family now. It's like the Ravengers. So that's cool too. So she gets to go do her thing, and she kind of like Peter and her kind of like almost come to an understanding of like, we're never gonna be that thing, but she says to him like, I bet we were fun,
Yeah.
That almost made me cry too. That part, I was like, oh god, fuck. And then it made me think of just like, I was like missing Cat and shit. Like I was just like, man, like, dude, if I like missed out on Cat, like I know. I mean, that's literally the opposite of gay, actually. Hella straight, bro. Hella straight. But yeah, so they end up getting together, and then boom, like whatever, end credit scene. Let's get to the post credit scene, because this for me was fucking sick. So boom, we pop in. You see Rocket, and he's leading a new team of Guardians.
Yeah.
Now this is where it gets interesting, because it's Rocket, it's Kraglin, it's Cosmo. Adam Warlock is all healthy now, and he's wearing a suit.
Yeah.
And then the little blob, the little like brown pet thing with Adam Warlock's pet. And then a little girl, which was one of the girls from the cages, right? Yeah. But now she speaks perfect English. And I don't know if you know, or notice, but when they're talking to her, there was a part where like one of her eyes like glowed purple.
Yeah.
So she definitely has like some crazy ass powers or something.
For sure. I mean, she's a high evolutionary like
just like Adam Warlock. Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure.
So she's gonna have like some crazy powers or something. Now I'm wondering who she is, or maybe like because she kind of like looked like almost like Magic, which if you guys know who Magic is, like she's like a character. She's like from the X-Men almost, like a mutant. But I don't know if that's her. But she like definitely has like some interesting powers, and they just didn't show it, right? And then the best part, my favorite part of the whole movie, I think the best thing that I saw the whole entire movie is the little brown thing sitting on top of a big rock pile or whatever, and you're just like, okay, whatever.
It's really cool.
And they're about to fight.
Did that,
you don't see anybody.
You don't see like at the point when they're talking, like when they're like chilling, like you don't even think about it. Like I'm just thinking like, oh shoot, like
that's
like
the new
it's just a new team. Like I didn't even think about it.
Yeah, I didn't even think about Groot. And then they're about to go fight this like horde of like monsters that are coming in, and then they're like, all right, Groot, get up, and then Groot, out of nowhere, the rock that they were sitting on comes up, and fucking King motherfucking Groot, baby.
Yeah. He looked like the Hulk,
oh my God.
man.
Dude, he was bigger than the Hulk. He was a monster, bro.
Sick.
He was fucking huge. And I feel like they kind of teased it because in the beginning when they first get to Counter Earth and everyone's attacking them, like she's like, go kaiju.
Yeah,
and like he goes like huge, and he's like, I was like, oh damn, that's crazy. He got big, and that's kind of like what people have been expecting and kind of been waiting for, because like King Groot, is like this big fucking monstrous Groot, and then at the end for them to reveal it, like as he just like comes out of the fucking thing and wakes up, and he's just like, he has like the crown like on his head, like from the like his like spikes kind of thing.
Yeah, that's sick.
So sick.
That's sick.
I wanted to see him in action, but like just him running was good enough for me. I don't care. Like so that ends.
That's dope.
And also at the very end too of the Guardians movie, before the post credit scene, you see Peter go back to Earth.
To Earth.
And he goes and he knocks on his grandpa's door, goes inside and sees his grandpa, and that almost made me cry too. That part almost made me cry too when he sees his grandpa. And his grandpa comes running to him and hugs him, and he's like, "Hey, grandpa."
Yeah.
And I was just like, oh, like that fucking got to me too, and I was just like,
really,
damn,
it was really emotional because in the movie, I mean, in the first Guardians or something, or wherever, I forget. I probably gotta watch it again. But he mentioned in this Guardians that why would he go back to his grandpa, and his grandpa pushed him away at 8 years old or something like that because his mom died. So he was like, why would I go back to that? But then when he goes back, his grandpa kind of embraced him.
Yeah. So like, and he also had like pictures of him on the wall. He never forgot him. Like he almost thought like, oh, he didn't want me kind of thing. Yeah. But then he goes back and sees like, oh, actually, like, he was thinking of it the whole time.
But then my part is, y'all know I'm about connection. I'm just lost at the end of the movie, because at the end, at the second post credit scene, it's Peter Quill and his grandpa just sitting having breakfast. His grandpa's reading the newspaper and Peter Quill's eating cereal, and it's really dope because it's like, for me it looked like he's just missed out at being a kid, and he's just doing doing a kid thing, you know what I mean? And he's like kind of explaining, and they're talking about, I don't know if it's his grandpa's wife's son or whatever. I don't know. But he's talking about some kid. He's like 45, not kid.
Yeah,
but
so that's why I was confused because I feel like it's someone important, right?
Yeah.
So essentially, he was like, I don't understand why I have to mow the lawn when you have a son that can do it, or whatever. He's like, it's weird that like you're just gonna have like this 45-year-old man that's perfectly bodied, like that can do it, and just watching me do it, you know.
And it's
and I feel like
I think it's funny because it's like it depicted like him, like obviously he's older, but it depicted him as like a kid.
Yeah.
And I thought that was sick. I thought that was like that was a really smooth move with that situation.
Yeah.
But then it really didn't give us anything, honestly.
But that's what I'm wondering is that maybe it did. We might have to watch the breakdown on New Rockstars, but like maybe we have to like zoom in on whatever that he was reading on the newspaper. Like I feel like that could have been something. And then also whoever he's talking about is probably someone that we need to know, but I'm not sure who it is. Like it's gonna be someone important. It could be. I feel like.
And also, this was a super duper vague like post-credit scene. I've never seen a post-credit scene like this because it didn't connect to anything. And then at the end of the post-credit scene, it said Peter Quill will return.
The legendary Star-Lord.
Oh, the legendary Star-Lord. He will return, but where? Because it's no Guardians. Like if they said Guardians will return, it would like, all right, cool. It's gonna be Guardians of the Galaxy.
It's always said Guardians has returned.
So
will return.
Where the hell is he gonna be implemented in this?
So wait, do you think we'll get a Star-Lord movie? Ooh. He's big enough. He's a big enough actor that he can have his own movie, and we would still go see it because you know it's going to be good cameos. You know it's going to be funny. You know it's going to be good action. You're interested in his story and seeing where he goes now. Like he can have his own movie. He can have his own 3 movies if he wanted to. Like, and it could be Star-Lord.
Star-Lord becomes in the
like
Earth,
the Iron Man. Yeah,
in the Earth. Like,
and he's on Earth and he's like doing his thing.
Yeah,
and, like,
and he becomes like a.
He meets up with maybe he meets up like the X-Men or
like Peter
Parker, like whoever.
Yeah, I mean it could be. It could. So yeah, a Star-Lord alone. I mean, I'm not convinced because we haven't seen it alone, and it's like.
But you said Peter Parker. That made me think. So when Doctor Strange did his thing, didn't he say everyone on Earth to forget about me? And if Peter Quill wasn't on Earth when he comes back,
I think it was everybody
that knew him.
Yeah, everybody knew him. But we got to look that up. We got to look it up
because maybe Peter remembers Peter.
That would be sick.
Peter and Peter.
That would be sick.
Peter Parker and Peter Quill.
That'd be sick. But yeah, I'm not opposed to a Star-Lord like movie. You know what I mean? Because I already know like. I feel like Star-Lord would handle his own, but they would definitely put a lot of cameos in it.
Yeah, it would definitely
because it's not as a big of a movie, so you definitely have. I feel like you have money
because he's not like an Iron Man or a Captain America, like, but he is still Star-Lord.
But you can also grow him to be that.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, and what's his name? Chris Pratt.
Yeah,
Chris Pratt is such a big actor.
Yeah, he's a big actor.
Like an A-list actor. I mean, he's like
for sure.
He's doing Jurassic Park, and like he's doing like a bunch of like big movies already. So I think like he has that already.
So I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at that. And and it gives I rock with that.
So maybe that's our way of knowing that maybe we're gonna get a Star-Lord movie, which would be pretty cool.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Because I didn't think about that until just right now, but I think that'd be pretty dope.
That'd be sick actually. But like, dang man, like me personally, great movie. Honestly,
out of 10, how would you rate it?
I'll give it a good 8. 8.5. Only not up there with the 9s and 10s because I'm pissed. You know me.
You want the connection?
Yeah, and it's had no connection to what's happening right now. And I get it. And it actually probably came at a perfect time for Marvel because you can't connect it to Kang because you don't know what the hell. What the hell is up with Jonathan Majors?
Yeah, it kind of like sets its own path, right? Which is cool. I mean, the thing is, like, it doesn't really... it's cool to have the cameos of, like, everything else that's going on in Marvel, like, all the other characters, but it's also, like, there's so many characters in this movie already that it's, like, they have so many loose ends to tie up within themselves before they can start bringing in, you know, the Hulk or freaking Captain America, or the Avengers and all that stuff, right? So, I think it's cool, like, for me, I'd give it, like, a solid, like, as an independent, like just like the end, like the end of a trilogy for the Guardians, I'll give it like a 10, a solid 10. A solid 10 for if I'm just looking at 1, 2, 3 as the Guardians, right? For the ending of the Guardians, But as like an overall Marvel movie, like an 8.5, like you said, like because I was missing those connections, I wanted like bigger picture. I was hoping that we would get some bigger picture stuff, you know, like fill in like the bigger gaps that we need, and what we're like missing out on, and like the Celestials or like something, you know, maybe something like
that
bigger.
would have been cool.
Yeah.
If it probably would have hit a 10 if they kind of connected the dots with that Eternal stuff.
Yeah, so for like a Marvel movie, I'll give it like 8.5. Still one of the better Marvel movies for sure, but. As far as if I'm just looking at Guardians 1, 2, and 3, it's a solid 10. Like the whole trilogy, like that's a perfect way to end the trilogy. Like if this was just its own thing, like the Guardians of the Galaxy trilogy, and it wasn't in this overall Marvel world, it's a perfect 10 movie. You know, the perfect ending for the perfect like trilogy. Like just bomb, just dope.
Yeah,
I loved it.
Yeah, I mean, it was good, man. It was really good. I enjoyed it.
Great movie, guys.
I enjoyed it, man. Put on the heartstrings.
Tears, my tears are
a lot.
I can finally, my eyes are recovering. Like they're not puffy anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
I think I told your girl when we were here when we pulled up. Your girl she was like, "Oh, how was it? How was it?" I was like, "Man, honestly, it's up there with Wakanda on emotions." You know what I mean? Like watching Wakanda, like it's up there with Wakanda.
Yeah, that's a good thing. Yeah,
it's
like as far as like emotional
emotional
movies, this one's cooler too because it's like it's a little more, it's more fun and funnier and more action. I feel like I think it's better than Wakanda in that aspect. But yeah, definitely same level as like just emotions when it comes to this one. Yeah, you know, but overall, great movie, guys.
Yeah, great movie.
Just, you know, if you guys, obviously, if you're watching this, you probably have already seen this. So hopefully, you know, we gave you a good little rundown and you guys can like relive it with us. Yeah. And then also, if you haven't seen it, obviously go see it. And I don't know why you watch this. We ruined the whole movie for you, but it's still worth watching it because we're not the best at, you know, explaining everything.
Shout out to Dax because Dax might just watch this
and not even watch the movie.
Because Dax is like our guy that's in the comments all the time. So Dax will probably watch this and not watch the movie. Or something. So
just be like, comment on it. But
shout out to Dax and shout out to it's another person who always comments. I'm gonna say his name because y'all comment all the time, so I'm gonna just give y'all love.
Yeah, and this is our Marvel. This is like our Marvel, very Marvel-esque stuff. Right? We built this podcast on Marvel, and obviously we've expanded to other things and other people and interviews and talk about music, and because we have a lot of interest in our life. There's more than, it's a multiverse of interests as opposed to all this stuff. You know,
Super Mash Brothers.
That's also Dax. That's Dax's other. That's Dax's other page.
Yo, weak.
That's so funny. I can't believe.
Weak Dax, bro.
What's funny is that he comments with both profiles and then he comments on his own comments. Yeah. That's my guy, Dax.
Yeah, Dax, bro. Shout out to Dax, bro. I'm trying to show love to everybody that be showing us love, man. Shout out to BLW. Who else we show? I'm not trying to get everybody, but like just the like the most commenters and like the most people who are engaged. Yeah, we appreciate you guys.
And I heard that Kat was telling me that a lot of people comment on our TikToks and stuff. So you got you just write back to people on TikTok or like send them to me so we can write back on TikTok. I don't even look at the comments.
I just posted it.
Yeah.
So, but shout out to y'all on TikTok, man.
Yeah.
Sure.
So and follow us on TikTok if you guys are interested. We're gonna have like more clips and stuff.
Shout out to Diane. Yeah,
my mom.
She be throwing hella comments in our thing too. But, so yeah, man, and go watch the movie if you haven't.
Yeah, so watch it, and like I said, this is our very Marvel-esque podcast, right? We're also gonna be talking to different people and doing more things. So if you enjoyed this one, obviously we're gonna have more. Anytime a Marvel movie, Marvel TV show comes out, we're gonna be talking about that stuff. DC as well. But then also we're gonna start expanding. I think probably next podcast or maybe in another week or two, we're gonna bring our boy Jawan on. He wants to come on the podcast, so we're gonna have him on. We're gonna talk about music. We're gonna talk about what we've been doing. Talk about his music, kind of like interview, kind of status, and then we'll obviously keep talking about the entertainment stuff, the movie stuff, the superhero stuff. So just keep tuned in with us, and if you like this, obviously give it a thumbs up, like it, share it, subscribe. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. We're so close to 100 subscribers, and I think that's like I want to break that 100. I think that I know it's not a lot, but it's a lot to us. So
we should probably make a above the multiverse shirt and then try to do like a giveaway.
Yeah, we should.
That way we can.
So that's also the big thing too. Now that we're done with this, like we've been waiting for this big movie. I've been like super anxious about getting this movie. I'm moving soon, like within the next week. So after I move, we're gonna have a new setup. It's gonna be looking super dope. We're gonna refresh everything, revive everything, and get new logos, get new stuff, get some merch, get a bunch of different things. And
season 2.
Yeah, season 2. Season 2 is shaping up quite nicely. Yeah. So But yeah, I appreciate you guys for watching this and sticking with us. I know we're long-winded and we talk a lot, especially me. I talk a lot. But I appreciate you guys for sticking with us and going through this whole Marvel universe with us.
Yeah.
And yeah, man, I'm tired. I know Avery's tired.
Yeah,
we're gonna see if the game's still going or not. But
nah, they lost.
They lost.
Yeah,
Lakers lost.
Yeah, bad. They lost bad. They're it's like Philly.
I put money on Golden State.
I put money on the Lakers. Bad.
I knew that they were gonna take one, but I don't think they were.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, we're ready to go, man. I think for me personally, as far as Marvel goes, man, I'm happy that Guardians of the Galaxy is over because, like I said, I want to get to the connection, but like also in the real world, Jonathan Majors is in this situation he's in, so we don't really know the future of Marvel, which sucks because it's like, dang, when are we gonna get? I think Secret Invasions is next, but I don't know when we're gonna get.
Secret Invasions next.
I don't know when we're gonna get Loki.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, I feel like Loki's gonna come after Miss Marvel now.
Yeah, they're gonna push Loki back because they haven't even started talking about Loki after all this stuff. So we'll see what happens. But I mean, well, definitely the next thing is Secret Invasion, and then the Marvels, which isn't until November. So we got a long time. So in the meantime, we're gonna be filling stuff in. There's a lot of DC movies that are gonna be coming out, so that's gonna be cool.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be cool.
We can kind of fill it in with those movies, and if there's any other big movies that you guys want us to talk about or anything, obviously we'll go see those too. Avery sees every movie, so
we gotta go see Super Mario Brothers. I see John Wick.
Yeah, Super Mario Brothers. I gotta see that.
Yeah, I gotta see some other stuff too.
So yeah, but we appreciate you guys. Thank you for tuning in. Also, like we always say, please like, subscribe, tell a friend, share, do something. Just like help us get this out there into the world and spread it.
And if you've been here this long, bro, you're a real one.
Yeah, seriously.
I think this is probably over. Maybe maybe
2 hours.
Yeah.
So if you guys have been watching this, we appreciate it. For me, I think I know I keep talking and stuff, but I think it's cool for people like me who like can sit down and watch a 2-3 hour podcast, especially like about a Marvel movie that I just saw. Like I like to see other people's opinions on the movie. Mm-hmm. So for me, I would be a fan of watching this. So I think hopefully there's more people out there that are watching this that are like down to like
we just gotta get in front of the right people. So, once we get in front of the right people, it's like H3, like you know what I mean, like or
we're building our community, but slowly, we just gotta. The one thing I want to do is get like sticker, like, so I want to get a new logo and this is just a little behind the scenes talk for you guys, like some inside baseball shit, but I want to get like logo or a card or do something so that when we go to these movies and we're there, the people that are there at the movies with us are just as passionate about it as us, right? So we got to be like, hey, we do a podcast, so you guys should check out our podcast. We're gonna talk about the movie after this and hand out stickers or something, or like either stickers with a QR code so they can see our YouTube, or like cards or something, so that we can be like, hey, we do a podcast, like watch our podcast. So that's our way of getting people to check it out.
Yeah,
all the people at the movies, they're gonna want to go. They're gonna probably be the ones to watch our podcast.
Yeah.
After this, and then
that's
also like
guerrilla marketing.
Also like and then also like when we went like last week, I went to the mall. There was a line of people outside.
So you could have gave everybody.
Yeah, I could have been like handing out everyone a card. Like, hey, we're gonna talk about this movie when it comes out. Like so. We'll figure that out. But we're, like I said, season 2, we're taking it to the next level. So keep up with us, guys, and just keep wishing us luck. If you guys are fans, the supporters, let us know if you guys have any comments, any suggestions, anything that we should do to get better. Please, help us. We're trying to improve for season 2. So yeah. But thank you guys. Guardians of the Galaxy, 10 out of 10 movie for me. Every Marvel movie is a 10 out of 10 movie for me, but this was up there with one of the better Marvel movies. So I appreciate you guys. I know Avery appreciates you guys, and yeah, man, subscribe, like, do all that shit, and
we appreciate y'all, man. My bad, I was just texting somebody.
Good?
Yeah.
Anything else?
That's it, man. We love y'all. Thank y'all for rocking with us, and
thanks for watching this all this way.
We'll see y'all in the next one.
Yeah. Until next time.
Peace.